take the day off today, holding only a film session and some light shooting for a few players. No formal practice, though. Cleveland played better in Game 3, but the Warriors took it away down the stretch and now lead the series 3-0. Game 4 tomorrow night in Cleveland. We'll have it starting at 8 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 9 Eastern on ABC. After ESPN's Jeff Goodman reported Creighton basketball coach Greg McDermott was offered the Ohio State job, McDermott says today he is staying with the Blue Jays. One baseball final today. The Reds sweep a 4-game series against the Cardinals 5-2. The Cards have now lost 7 in a row. Red Sox and Yankees at 7 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Astros lefty Dallas Keuchel goes on the DL today with discomfort in his neck. Keuchel is 9-0 this season. This is his second trip to the disabled list with a neck issue. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Pittsburgh. The Penguins and the Predators are tied at 2 games apiece.
Gentlemen, raise your game at JCPenney with 50% off suit separates and dress shirts designed by Michael Strahan, and get up to 40% off MSX activewear,
Change the way the Russia probe was conducted. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer saying moments ago on the Senate floor, America is stunned by Comey's testimony.
The cloud hanging over this administration has just gotten a whole lot darker.
A much different take from House Speaker Paul Ryan.
The president's new at this. He's new to government.
A mixed finish on Wall Street, actually a higher finish. The Dow up 9 points at the closing bell to 21,183, and a new all-time high for the NASDAQ, finishing right around 6,321. Fox News, fair and balanced.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Summer involves a lot of driving, to camp, to work, to soccer, back home to grab what they forgot, and then back to soccer again. So wouldn't you like to know your car is up for it? Enter Hum by Verizon. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics, drive with more peace of mind thanks to 24/7 emergency assistance, and let the kids stream and game on the go with your car's own Wi-Fi hotspot. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com. Verizon Wi-Fi available on Hum X only. Data usage applies. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit VZW.com for availability.
The 2 men charged in the deaths of 3 dozen people in an Oakland warehouse fire in December makes a brief trip to court.
Derek Almena appeared in an Alameda County courtroom to face 36 counts of involuntary manslaughter, but he did not enter a plea. His arraignment was postponed until next week so his team can coordinate with his co-defendant, Max Harris. Both were tenants at the warehouse. Almena was the main occupant who allowed people to live there. Almena's attorney, Jeffrey Krasnoff, said after court that prosecuting his client is just a distraction.
So that the local government doesn't have to address the fundamental issues of housing inequality and fire safety that will continue to be a problem in this community.
The district attorney said the men knowingly created a death trap inside the warehouse and filled it with flammable clutter. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Bill Cosby's one-time admission of fondling a woman after giving her pills is being read into the record at his sexual assault trial in Pennsylvania. He says whatever happened in this case was consensual. Accuser Andrea Constand says Cosby drugged her. She was paralyzed. Less than a week after the latest terror attack in Britain, voters are at the polls in a parliament race that appears tighter in recent surveys.
Conservative UK Prime Minister Theresa May voting early. She called this election to give her a stronger hand in negotiating a British exit from the European Union. It hasn't gone quite to plan. She's had some stumbles. And her opponent, left-wing Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn, has done better, for example, slamming her for police cuts in the wake of those deadly strikes. Now today across London, and with special surveillance on polling stations, a strong police presence. One way the Prime Minister is flexing her muscles. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
A British sailing star with a dream of bringing the America's Cup home to Britain comes up short, losing a semifinal to New Zealand. The Kiwis will face either Sweden or Japan in the final. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Here's Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you cool all summer long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, clear, a low of 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 87, low of 64. Saturday, even warmer, high 89 and sunny, a low of 67. We'll see 90s through most of next week. I'm not ready for that.
I might need to take a vacation. Enjoy that.
I'm not ready for that. Right now, sunny, clear, 83 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Werner. I bypassed Cardinals highlights. Didn't we have Cardinals highlights?
Yeah, you want to play them?
I really don't want to.
It's like 30 seconds.
Okay, let's play them, but after I find out your alcohol problem, is everything all right?
I had a drink. Just play the highlights.
James stutter steps on the arc. Now accelerates. Pass in the corner. Carver for three. Hit the side rim. No. Durant rebound.
Yeah, he got it. He got a good look. Now the shot was challenged, but a good look.
Durant for three in the lead. He's got it. 45 seconds to go. Warriors take the lead here in Cleveland.
The Cardinals are down to their last strike. The pitch to Molina. Swing and a miss. Got him with another slider, and this ball game has come to an end. The Reds swept the Cardinals, and the Cardinals went 0 for 7 on the road trip. The final, 5-2 Cincinnati.
All right, highlights courtesy of ESPN Radio and the NBA, and of course Cardinal Radio Network. Cardinals lose again. They just lost a road trip. They just got swept on a road trip. They didn't lose a road trip.
0-7.
Wow.
You went from what? Second place to... You're almost in last place.
Holy smoke, kids. Come on down in St. Louis. Let's get things rolling here. You got the Phillies coming up a couple of times. The Orioles, that won't be easy.
I was doing some research on what the Cardinals need to do here. We'll talk about that here in a second.
What hour do you want to do that?
In the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to talk a lot of Illini. Patrick Donnelly, he's the high school coach at University of Detroit Jesuit High School. He's the coach for Greg Eboig-Bowden. We'll talk about the newest Illini commit with his coach, kind of learn about his recruitment as well as his growth as a player. Really took a big step as a senior after he'd already signed with UIC. So we'll talk to Coach Donnelly about that. We'll also talk some Illini football recruiting with Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com. Also have a few other requests out, so maybe we'll have a surprise or two during the show. We'll talk a lot of baseball today. The Ohio State job, apparently not good enough for the Creighton coach. So
that's interesting.
We'll chat about that. But the Cavs had a great opportunity last night. They played great basketball.
They did.
For most of the game.
They did.
And I with a minute and a half left, they're up, 4? Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there going, that's a lot of basketball left against this Warriors team.
They can score in so many ways.
And that even if the Cavs pulled this out, they would have eked out a win in a ridiculously well-played game by them. The Warriors are just a juggernaut right now, and it's got to be so depressing for the rest of the league. And you can hear it in LeBron James.
Yes.
He looks ridiculously tired after this run of how much weight has been on his shoulders with this entire thing. But how do you beat this team? It's depressing, I think, for the rest of the NBA, and it's turned off some fans. Because even last night, I'm sitting there going, Kevin Durant, you're awesome.
Right.
I think you've made the right move. Like, personally, I can't blame you for making the move.
No.
But I hate this right now. Why, Kevin Durant? Why'd you do this? Because you guys are too good right now.
It really is, and it'll be interesting. You know, we talked to Matt Silich yesterday, and he mentioned that the NBA, the ratings are up 5%. The NBA's hot. I mean, there's no doubt about it. People love the NBA. They love stars.
And whether it was Lakers, Celtics, or Bulls, it is proven that dynasties, super teams work.
It does.
It helps the NBA. I think the Patriots is phenomenal for the NFL. I think when the Yankees were a dynasty, that was great for baseball. But when it's this dominant,
well, that's the thing.
And it looks like it's going to be for the next 3 or 4 years, I wonder if there is a downside to that or if it still is really good.
Well, and we'll find out, right? We'll find out as we go along. That's not an answer. We unfortunately don't know that yet as we go along. But you're right. And A couple of things that come to mind as you're watching this game last night. And again, the Cavaliers, like you said, they played so well. My question now to Cleveland, listen, they're professionals. This is LeBron James, best player in the world. He's going to come out and play game 4 his hardest, and these Cavaliers will be ready. But you wonder was that game last night just, now listen, I understand the series is over, right?
Yes.
In fact,
maybe the Cavs win tomorrow, right? The next game.
I think the stat is 0-126. You retweeted something today of coming back from an 0-3 series. Cleveland's not going to win the series, but you wonder last night if that game just didn't do it. In other words, if Cleveland has anything left in game 4, after, like you said, they have to be sitting there last night saying, we played as well as we can and
Kyrie
still
Irving
can't win.
Was unbelievable until he tried to be the hero.
Yes.
By himself.
That's right.
That possession was ridiculously terrible, but he was great all game. Big time plays. J.R. Smith gave him 16 points. Kyle Korver was not only hitting some shots,
right?
He's really good defensively last night.
Which is weird.
Right, it is, but he's a smart basketball player. He was pretty good. Tristan Thompson wasn't that good.
No.
Kevin Love was giving him great rebounding. But they had, performances that they should have won that game.
Yes.
But in the final minutes, they made mistakes.
Yep.
They ran out of gas. LeBron James looked tired.
Yeah, right.
Because, he didn't play well in those final 2 minutes. But it's hard for me to criticize a guy and, for the focus to be about, LeBron's not great. No, he's great.
Yeah.
I don't care about these Jordan LeBron things. 39 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists.
It's just, another night.
And he played pretty good defense, but there's only so much energy one guy can have. When he was on the court, the Cavs were a +7. That was 45 minutes. When he was off for 2 minutes, they were a -12.
Wow, just like that.
That tells you you it there. But
absolutely.
Durant, Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond, this is just a machine.
Have you wondered, is this not it for LeBron? I don't mean to say it like that. He's fine. Is this the end of his championships as you look ahead?
All right, if you had to bet now, who ends their career with more titles, LeBron or Durant?
Oh my goodness. LeBron's got 4, right?
He's got 3.
Or 3. Durant has 1. He will have 1. Curry will win that one, won't he? Because Curry's got 2. Oh, boy.
But I'm just saying Durant or LeBron. I'd say push.
Yeah, I was going to say about even. Because I think Golden State will win the next 2.
I mean, what do you do if
this year or next 3?
The Cavs and maybe the Spurs are the only teams with any chance.
Because the Celtics are getting better, but they can't get that good that quick.
No, the Celtics are building for when LeBron's done.
Right.
Right. That is when they are building, and that's why Jimmy Butler might not make sense for them.
Good call.
Because he'll be good for a while, but he might be declining by the time they really, really have a chance. But San Antonio and so what do you do if you're the Cavs? San Antonio, they can get Chris Paul, and that would make them a lot better.
Huge.
But if you're the Cavs, what do? You got to add more shooters?
Which is funny because my thought on the way in here, which is my preparation for the show, my 5-minute drive, I honestly thought to myself, I'm going to ask Jeremy today, what guy out there could they add? Like a Jimmy Butler?
Well, it'd be Butler, Paul George.
I mean, you'd almost have to add 2.
Well, no, it's one of them.
Right, right.
I mean, Andrew Wiggins would be really
Hanson's
good.
Hanson's Auto Repair to Van.
That's the kind of guy that would be really good for them. Right?
Yeah, no, that's a good call. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
What could they give up for that?
Right. Well,
you're not trading Kyrie.
No,
Kevin Love doesn't have that kind of value for any team.
This is going to be interesting to see as this goes along. I mean, Golden State, Kevin Durant, you got your you're going to get your title, and now the absolute pendulum has swung to Golden State so hard now that they're going to dominate basketball. I don't think there's anybody in their right mind can sit there and say Golden State is not going to dominate basketball the next 2 or 3 years.
Did we ever think that about the Lakers in the 80s? Because I know because
the Celtics were just right there.
I know the Celtics were there, but they only made. I mean, those teams only played 3 times in the finals. I had to look that up because everyone talks about it like those guys played 6 or 7 times.
Right.
No, I mean, the Sixers were a really big foe for the Celtics.
They were.
The Lakers made it 9 of 12 years.
Wow.
From 80 to 91.
How many titles did they win in there? In that stretch?
5.
Do you remember? Okay.
Because Magic won 5 titles.
I'm sure it was the same feeling then.
So, did we feel that then, or because maybe the Cavs can win it the next year, or maybe in 2 years the Cavs can win it, or the Spurs or the Celtics can win it.
Well, you have injuries. You never know about that. But the thing that scares you about Golden State is that they are all under contract, essentially. And I think Durant wants to sign a friendly contract.
And here's the thing. This was a once in almost a lifetime opportunity.
Yes.
Because the NBA salary cap spiked so much that Golden State all of a sudden had room for a max contract.
Unreal.
Right? And they already had all these pieces. But the NBA, instead of gradually increasing the salary cap, just went boom.
That's crazy.
And that allowed the Warriors to absorb a big contract like Kevin Durant. I mean, if this happened next year,
right?
Durant probably wouldn't be a Warrior unless he's taking a massive pay cut.
Can you imagine if that would have happened for LeBron? How people would have hated that and said the NBA is all about LeBron. You know, we don't say that about Durant because we like Kevin. He hasn't won a title yet, so he's still likable.
I think the Warriors have a lot of people that, you know, they're fun to watch.
They are.
I think it's very polarizing whether you're a Cavs fan now or Warriors, who you're rooting for. But I think there's a lot of people that turned on the Warriors and Kevin Durant
because of Durant. Okay, well, that's fair. 359-2255. Quick call here. Mitch in Atwood wants to talk finals. How you doing, Mitch?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're good, buddy.
Well, Jeremy, I won't hold this against you too much, but you stole my thunder on the plus-minus stat for LeBron last night.
Yeah.
Can we all collectively just agree now that, you know, and I'm not saying you guys haven't, but when you talked about most valuable player, LeBron steps off the floor last night for 120 seconds, and his team goes down essentially 12 points in that span of time.
Well said.
I mean, it's like you look at what was a game 2, Draymond picks up his fourth foul, he steps off the floor, and here comes Kevin Durant. It's like, you know, the Cavaliers don't have that kind of firepower. It's definitely fun to watch this basketball right now, but please, collectively, sports fans, acknowledge the fact that LeBron James is clearly the most valuable player.
He's the best player.
Yeah, I agree. Mitch, great stuff, buddy. Thanks for the call.
The Cavs, when LeBron left, went from 61 to 19 wins.
Wow.
When he came back, they went from 33 to 53. I mean, if we're talking war, he's a 20 to 30 war. I mean,
is there a player out there that can go to the Cardinals and do that?
Miami Heat went from like 40 to 60, didn't they? Something like that.
With those three, you know, the one thing I loved about Mitch's call, and I like when people do this, announcers do this sometimes, to emphasize the point, they say 120 seconds. It just makes it sound like it's even more impressive.
I mean,
LeBron is unreal.
He's still the best player in the NBA. Yeah. Kevin Durant has had an unbelievable series.
Yes.
Both those guys, I mean, those are the two best players in the NBA. I know Steph's the third best.
Right.
And Clay's one of the top 15, 20.
What's interesting about me with Durant, and
so is Kyrie.
Or so is Kyrie, right. What's interesting about me and Durant, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's always been on a team with another star. Right? He's been on with Russell Westbrook.
I mean, Russ took a couple of years, but yeah.
But so in Oklahoma City, and now, of course, with Steph and everybody else on that Golden State team.
It's a completely different type of star.
Right.
A completely different system. I mean, Russ dominated the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, and they don't need to dominate the ball. They pass it, right? All those guys,
exactly right.
I mean, the system is perfect for him.
Well,
and it's made him, it kind of shows off Durant the more aspects of his game, including passing.
Exactly.
His defense has been better this year with Golden State.
And I think the thing you think about, the Cavaliers are at max effort to try to stop this team defensively, right?
Yeah.
And you think about trying to stop a team that doesn't run a lot of one sets, in other words, like ISOs. They throw the ball all over the court. So you're running. Yeah, and your transition. So you're running. So it's like a double negative here on Cleveland.
To get to another point he just made, this is some of the best basketball I've ever seen.
Yes, it is.
Like from both teams are such a high level. There's so many great players out there, and the Warriors are one of the most well-oiled machines I've ever seen. It's some of the most beautiful, best basketball I've ever seen.
It's IQ basketball. It's basketball IQ. They know what to do. I think Steve Kerr deserves a lot of credit for that on Golden State. Yeah. He recognized what he had. He recognized, and not just Steve, but Golden State in general, recognized that they could take a guy like Kevin Durant in the midst of a great run. Kevin Durant or not, Golden State was going to go on a nice run, right, for the next few years. They recognized that they could bring in a guy like that, and it would not. And I understand that may sound stupid, but sometimes you can bring something like that in, and it disrupts what you're trying to do.
Like all the people were saying they're better without Durant.
Right. But they understood his style of game fits theirs perfectly. And now you see it, and now they roll.
They're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, too.
Yeah.
And Mark Jackson really got that going.
I
so
agree
you got to
with
give
you.
him credit there.
Look at that, a little Mark Jackson love.
One of our surprises came through. Chin Coleman, Illini assistant coach, is going to join us at 3:30. So we'll talk to the Illini assistant, who's the lead recruiter for Greg Eboig-Bowden.
Okay.
We'll talk to him about just joining Illinois as well. It's his first time he'll be on the show, so looking forward to that. I did want to get to the Cardinals real quick.
Okay.
As the Reds sweep the Cardinals,
I'm
they've
going to go
lost
get some
7
water,
in a row.
so go ahead and chat.
I'm not one for change's sake,
Yeah,
but
but
do you think Mazzelak's reaching that point?
Yes. I think this is, if this road trip isn't the low rock bottom.
We talked about moves they could make. I don't think you trade a guy like Matt Carpenter.
No, I don't either.
He is I think what this team is going to do now is you're building not to try and beat the Cubs.
Yes.
For the next year or two.
Yes.
I think you're building for 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying you're not going to be competitive in the next couple of years because you have the roster to be competitive.
Yeah, you do.
Including this year.
Yep.
You can be competitive this year. But I think your eyes should be on 2019 because you have a very young, deep farm system.
Yes, you do.
Your prospects are a couple years away.
Right.
And that could be 2019. Alex Reyes is a big part of your core. He's not going to be fully healthy.
No.
Probably a full season of him
Probably
until 2019.
Yeah,
and he still might be in an innings limit.
Exactly.
Right?
Isn't that crazy?
That's kind of the year. So you have a guy like Lance Lynn, who's a free agent at the end of the year. I'm dealing him.
Yeah, I would too. I would deal him before the trade deadline. I would too.
And a team that makes sense to me is the Houston Astros.
Yes.
They need a pitcher. I always bring up Quintana. Lance Lynn would be a nice addition to the middle of their rotation.
He would.
And Houston has a bunch of first basemen.
Oh, yeah?
That are deep, including a former top 100 prospect, A.J. Reed, who is blocked by like 3 guys.
Wow. Okay.
So
I'm starting to like
if
this.
you're building you need a hitter in the middle of that lineup.
Yes,
I don't know if he's going to be great.
Okay.
He could end up being Matt Adams. But if he's the center of that deal for a half a year of Lance Lynn, that makes a lot of sense to me. Finding a piece like that, we've thrown out Marcelo Ozuna.
Right.
That would make a lot of sense, though they're not going to want Lynn because they're not going to be competitive.
Exactly.
Finding a guy like that you can groom in the middle of that lineup for the next 4 or 5 years would be huge. And I don't know if he's going to be a superstar,
right?
But you need another hitter in the middle of that lineup, and I think Lance Lynn could help you get a piece like that.
I think that's interesting that you bring that up, and I hadn't thought that way. I hadn't thought of, all right, if the Cardinals are sellers. I hadn't quite thought of that yet.
I don't think they're sellers.
But in a smart way.
Yes.
In a smart way, correct.
Retoolers.
That's a great way to say it.
Shuffle the deck a little bit.
And I'm trying to think who else on this roster?
Peralta.
Well, nobody will want him.
If you could get rid of Cecil at this point.
Oh, my goodness. I will drive him wherever he needs to go.
That contract.
I don't
Here's
know.
The thing.
Is maybe people out there looking for a closer. Rosenthal. You could do a guy like that as well. Not strip down your team, but try to build a little bit by getting some guys back, and Lance Lynn's the perfect reason. The perfect example.
Your free agents next year are Peralta, Lynn, Rosenthal has arbitration.
Okay.
Zach Duke. Michael Wacha hits arbitration. Is he a guy you dangle? I don't know what you're going to get out of him.
I loved what Mike Claiborne said about that.
Yeah.
I'm at this point where you bring Luke Weaver up. You got to do something.
Here's the thing. People are on Mo now because his team is struggling.
Sure.
You have a young, deep farm system.
Yeah.
It's just young. I think he's done a good job of not having the ginormous contract.
I agree with you there.
Right?
I agree.
And we've talked about the Oscar Taveras and Alex Reyes implications.
He had some nice draft picks. Don't forget, they had some I can't ever say the word. They had some of those picks early. I know a lot of people think that they're just drafting late all the time.
And the big contracts on their team, Yadi Molina, that's big.
Yeah, it is.
That one might hurt you, but you knew that would.
Right.
Dexter Fowler, Mike Leake are good players.
Yes.
Right? And those contracts aren't ridiculous.
Nope.
Right?
Brett Cecil looks
even Brett
horrible.
Cecil, that contract stinks, but it's 4 years, $30 million.
Right.
It's not like you paid Chris Davis 7 years, $160 million, and he's not worth it.
Good point. And you hope
those
you can
contracts
fix Cecil.
can kill you. They have money next year.
Yep.
They have pieces they can trade.
Do.
So no matter how bad this year gets, I think Mozeliak has given you a lot of flexibility.
And you know what? I think this is how good the Cardinals are. Are you ready? they just know how good the Cubs are right now in this little stretch. So they're like, hey, if we're going to have a couple of down years, let's do it now, when in reality, even if the Cardinals were that good, they wouldn't beat the Cubs.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're trained. That's what their thought is. They're still going to hope 3.4 million go through the turnstile down at Busch, which they will. But you wonder when that'll start to parlay into people saying, I'm not going to watch this. And so I don't think this season is dead. But you certainly are at rock bottom, I feel like, right now after you go 0-7 on a road trip.
I'm not saying blow this thing up. No. But retooling and a guy like Lance Lynn, who should have a lot of value out there, would be a nice flip for a, maybe not top prospect, but for somebody like an A.J. Reed, who's blocked a superfluous piece on a contending team.
I like that.
That is blocked by some people. I think that would make a lot of sense.
He's not going to the Cubs. He's not going to Chicago.
No.
Mo is not going to trade Lance Lynn to Chicago. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
And if he does, then I'll take my promise back. But no way he's going to go help the Cubs.
Illinois basketball has an ACC Big Ten Challenge opponent. It's one Illini fans remember fondly. Wake Forest. They'll play them. We'll talk about that going forward as well. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. You can call us on the Jupiter's Crossing phone line or text the Chief Bauer text line. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. Download the WSJK app. Get our podcast at espncu.com. Or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. You can watch us live on YouTube. Just search Tay and J Show.
We have Chin Coleman, Illini assistant. He will join us next. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Summer is here, and the car buying is easy, especially when you have the big three American automakers all in one place. Come to McFerrin Park in Hoopeston, beginning on Monday, June 12th, to see the entire inventory from Anthem, Chevrolet Buick, Ford of Hoopeston, and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Hoopeston. Choose from hundreds of America's favorite cars in one easy-to-get-to location. Buick, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, Jeep, and Ram, all in McFerrin Park on Route 1 in Hoopeston, June 12th through the 17th.
Summer is coming, and Champagne Surplus is here to outfit you in the latest styles for men and women from Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, and Chaco. You'll find dresses, shorts, tank tops, sandals, and everything else you need to get summer ready. And did you know that Champagne Surplus is Champaign-Urbana's only Patagonia and Vineyard Vines store? So, if you're ready to get under the sun in the hottest brands right now, go to Champagne Surplus, 303 South Neal Street, downtown Champaign.
Eat, shop, play, and explore. Rediscover Campus Town every Thursday now through August 17th during 13 Thursdays. Summer's finally here, and we're loving the specials in Campus Town. You can find great deals on clothing, accessories, and food each Thursday during 13 Thursdays at participating businesses. Save big this summer when you shop and eat your way through Campus Town. And enjoy 1 hour free parking at the campus parking deck located on 6th and Healy each and every Thursday. Visit ChampagneCenter.com. 13 Thursdays is presented by the Champagne Center Partnership.
Don't miss the opportunity to play great golf in Mahomet. Beautiful, scenic Lake of the Woods golf course is only 10 minutes west of Champaign off I-74. We have an 18-hole golf course, a 9-hole par 3 course, the new fun and fast foot golf short course, a full-service pro shop, practice range, and snack bar. Call today or go online at golfthelake.com. Get all the latest information, like our after 11 a.m. senior golf deal, as well as upcoming events and tournaments. Make the short drive to Lake of the Woods Golf Course in Mahomet and enjoy great golf.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Jeremy Warner, 328 with your Sports Center update. The Warriors beat the Cavs 118-113 last night. The Cavs had a 4-point lead with just a minute and a half left, but Kevin Durant, a huge three with 45 seconds left. Kyrie Irving, not a smart decision. It took a step back three that did not fall. And the Warriors take a 3-0 lead. They have a chance to sweep the game, the series, and the playoffs. coming up later this week. Illinois basketball will play at Wake Forest as part of the 2017 ACC Big Ten Challenge. Illinois is 1-1 all-time against the Demon Deacons. Illini have never played at Winston-Salem. Last showdown was a memorable one between these two. Number 3 Illinois defeated number 1 Wake Forest 91-73 in Champaign during the 2004-05 season. Illinois claimed the number 1 ranking in the country after the win and held it until a national championship loss to North Carolina. Ohio State's still searching for a coach. They offered the job to Creighton coach Greg McDermott, according to reports, but McDermott said no. Xavier coach Chris Mack reportedly also not interested in the position. Fred Hoiberg was rumored to be involved yesterday, but he said he is not interested in the Ohio State job as well, so the beat goes on there. The Cardinals got swept on their road trip, losing this afternoon 5-2 to Cincinnati, lose 4 straight to Cincinnati. The Reds are now 30-30. The Cardinals dropped to 26-33 on the season. One bright spot, Matt Carpenter back in the leadoff role, goes 2 for 4 with a home run, his second home run in as many days. But don't talk about the narrative, Juan.
No.
Matt Carpenter doesn't want to hear it. But he is better as a leadoff.
Cardinals are stinky. Stinky. Take a shower. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Werner, 4:05. I'm excited for this. Going to talk with Patrick Donnelly. He's the University of Detroit Jesuit High School coach. He coached Greg Eboik Bowden. And you mentioned it, Jeremy, and I was going to talk on this. Yeah, I was waiting for that thing. Come on. I was going to talk on this that you made the mention early in the show about he really improved his senior year. And you have to realize this is a kid that's played basketball for, 3 years?
Yeah.
And so that's exciting. Don't let that narrative go away. Like the fact that he improved that much his senior year, that's what, as Illinois fans, you need to get excited about a guy like Greg Eboik Bowden, because he has the potential as a kid that hasn't played a lot of basketball to really improve. Now, will he? We'll see. We'll see. But it's one of those situations where that's what I'm excited about with a kid like that.
Let's get to the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line and talk to a guy who knows a lot about Greg Eboik Bowden. He's a Illini assistant coach, Chin Coleman. And Chin, usually when we introduce guests here on the Tay and J Show, Jeremy Werner, Lon Tay, by the way, we put their Twitter out there, but are you incognito on Twitter?
I am incognito on Twitter. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate joining you guys today.
Yeah,
I am incognito on Twitter.
Why do you decide to do that? I'm guessing you have like the egg-shaped avatar and all that.
I actually don't have an egg-shaped avatar. I have a deal, but it's just anonymous. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like to stay off the grid. But,
sure.
I follow who I need to follow for purposes of information and to stay in tune with what's going on in the world. But I've never tweeted, if that's a word. But I am on Twitter, and I use the functionality of it, but I'm just not an active tweeter, and I'm not visible on it.
Why am I picturing Chin Coleman and Lovie Smith sitting down laughing about Twitter and just saying, what is the big deal about this thing?
Yeah, this is a cliche, guys. Don't take this, but I'm like a private dancer, man. Not a private dancer, actually, but so I don't see the need to kind of put all my business out into the world and all that kind of stuff. But I read everybody else's business though, but I'm just okay with keeping mine personal.
Amen.
Well, Coach, I know we want to talk to you about just joining Illinois staff and that big career move for you, but tell us a little bit about Greg Eboik Bowden. Obviously, you're the connection here with adding the big man, and Coach Underwood said he needed to add a guy taller than him, and he's taller than everybody, I think, on this staff, including Orlando Antigua. Tell us about why this recruitment, how it kind of got going this late in the process.
First and foremost, Greg is an unbelievable human being, very humble. He comes from humble beginnings. He's a high-character kid. And one thing that Coach Underwood preaches all the time is that character wins, character wins, character wins. That's one of his cliches that he talks to us about ad nauseum, is how important character is, and we're fortunate to inherit a high character young man. Like, he's so humble and so thankful and just a wonderful human being first and foremost. In terms of who he is as a basketball player, he comes from a soccer background, and once you see him play, you'll be able to understand how effective the soccer beginnings has paid dividends for him as a basketball player now. His foot quickness and his athleticism and his speed and his quick twitch and his nose for the ball. He's got great hand-eye coordination. He also is a big-time ping pong player.
Nice.
And he started playing ping pong in his homeland in Nigeria, and they started playing just on concrete. And they eventually graduated to get a table and put like some type of object or whatever in the middle of the table and play ping pong. So he's really, really, really good at ping pong. So his hand and eye coordination is great. So a lot of things that he do, you can see why he is who he is on the basketball floor and what it is that he does. He's got a high motor, and I tease these guys here every day, and we talk about how hard LaRon Black plays. I'm like, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea when you talk about motor, and which is a skill nowadays. That's an actual skill.
Mm-hmm.
And how when we talk about motor, this kid has a motor. Like he's got a 458 Ferrari type motor, and this kid goes hard. He plays hard. He's athletic. He blocks shots. He's probably going to be the fastest guy on our team at 6'9". And that's how fast he is from inline to inline. He's going to be the fastest player on the team. And that's where the soccer comes into play. From a skill standpoint, he's so Greg can dribble, he can pass, he can shoot threes. Because he hadn't played for a long time, he picks up the game at rapid pace. He's very skilled, very, very skilled, and we're excited about him. And I could talk to you guys about Greg forever, but we got the better end of this deal. Trust me, we got the better end of this deal. He's definitely a high major player. He definitely has some high major skills, and he definitely has a ceiling that's very, very, very high.
What do you call him?
We call him Spicy G. That's his nickname. Spicy G.
I was thinking like Ebo or
Ebo seems to work.
Greggy or some Spicy G.
Spicy. Yep, call him Spicy G. He'll start laughing.
I like that. That's a little easier than Boyd Bowden. I can tell you that. We're visiting with the Illini basketball assistant, Chin Coleman. Now, Coach, I won't hold you to this. Obviously, when you bring in any freshman, you have no idea what they can produce and what they can help you with. But what do you see maybe as his role next season on this Illini team that, honestly, down low needs some depth?
Well, that's a question mark with all freshmen. We have a very highly touted, very special freshman who is also a high character kid in Mark Smith. When you talk about human beings of these two kids, they don't get no better than a Mark Smith and a Greggy Boy Bolden. But there's a question mark with him, and I know that everybody's excited about him. It's always is with freshmen, you know what I mean? But in terms of their ceiling and what they can and what they will be after they understand how hard you got to work. The discipline and the work ethic has to be learned because they think that they've been playing hard and they don't understand that they haven't been. You got to get to that point, and the work ethic and the schedule, you got to be able to manage all of that stuff because now their lives belong to us. Then you got to go to class, you got to eat, then you got this work, then you got weights, then you got conditioning, then you got individual work, then you got to go to sleep, then you got to do the same things over and over. So there's a learning curve, and but Greg, he picks up so quick that the one thing that he's going to be able to impact this university with immediately It's his work ethic, how hard he works, how hard he plays, how well he rebounds, him defensively. His offense is going to come. I mean, he's not completely raw offensively. He has some offensive tools and some offensive skills and ability that he's going to be a really good player, and we're just happy to have him.
He obviously took a big leap. You signed him at UIC. You said he's a high major player. He took a bit of a leap as a senior, didn't he? I mean, what kind of development progress did you see during his senior season?
Well, prior to us having the opportunity to get him, I was actually recruiting him and Iki, who's going to Marquette. Mm-hmm. And they both played on the same team with Cassius Winston. They went 28-0, won the state championship. And those two were juniors then, and then this year was their actual senior campaign, and they had a great year. They had a young guard, and that's probably why they didn't win it all, but they won. I mean, they won a ton of games. But I was actually recruiting both of those kids. And then, obviously, Iki wound up going to Marquette early. Greg had a lot of high majors involved with him early, the Boston Colleges, the Penn States. All of those schools, kind of schools, were recruiting Greg. But I don't know. We just our relationship and our it just kind of clicked. And he's a kid that he doesn't, because of where he comes from, he doesn't trust people right away. And I think that after overtime, we built that trust. And he built that trust with me, and I think that kind of helped us out in the end here. And then once I left, I had nothing to do with the reason why he wanted to get out of his commitment and his deal with UIC. I had nothing to do with that. UIC is a great program. Coach McClain is an unbelievable coach, and UIC is going to be really, really good. For whatever reason, he chose to get out of it. We weren't in the Greggy Boyd Bowden sweepstakes at the time, but then over time, it just became something that was available to us, and then, I guess the rest is what you say history. But,
sure.
If he didn't come to UIC, he was going to probably go to Pitt or Purdue or Georgia Tech. I mean, he was going to go to a Power 5 conference team.
We're talking with Illini basketball assistant Ronald Chin Coleman, though everyone talks to him and calls him Chin.
Sure.
Because Nebraska coach Tim Miles wouldn't allow the transition to Ronald. But, Coach, you've worked your way up in this business. I mean, you went from youth coaching to high school coaching, AU coaching, to being a staffer, to mid-major assistant. I mean, what has this past couple months been like for you to be a Big Ten assistant coach at the University of Illinois?
First and foremost, it's been a blessing. It's not me. I understand where my blessings come from and why I'm here. I'm just living the dream and living out the plan that the man upstairs has put forth for me. It's not me. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just living it out, and this was a dream of mine to be an assistant coach, as a coach at the University of Illinois. It's been great, man. It's just but once all the smoke and the dust cleared, it's work.
Yeah.
You got to put your hard hat on and your boots and put your nose to the grind, and you got to work. And so that's one thing I know how to do, and that's one thing I hang my hat on, and is the work. I want to be judged by the work. I don't want to be judged by anything but how hard I work. You know what I mean? And that's who I am, and that's what I represent. So it's been a high, but then the high is kind of settled right now because now it's work. You know what I mean? And we got to, and I'm committed to doing my part to make this place great again, and that's what I'm here to do.
And, Coach, you mentioned work. Obviously, the kid's now starting to work, and there'll be some more coming on to campus this weekend, et cetera. How are workouts going? Who's kind of standing out in your mind? What are you learning as you look at this team for the first time?
Well, all the pieces aren't trickled in yet. They're trickling in day to day. We have a couple kids that are here today. We got a couple coming tomorrow. Somebody will be here Saturday, and so on and so forth. So we haven't begin our second part of workouts because, before the summer break, we had our 8 weeks of 8 workouts or whatever we had with them, with the returning guys. And then now we'll be able to add in some of the new guys with those guys. And in terms of the older guys and returners, I'm really excited, and I like every one of those guys. I've been here and I've sat in the weight room and watched these guys mix it up in the weight room. I mean, the workouts that we had, every last one of them would say that they're better. We're big on skill development. We're going to get guys better here, and I'm excited about every last one of them. I mean, I can't say that I'm more excited about one than I am the other. I mean, these guys have really, really, really put in a lot of work, and there's more work to be put in this summer, and we're going to get back to work here next week. And I can't wait. I'm excited about the new guys fitting in with these guys, and we're starting to form assemble a team. And all the pieces aren't going to be assembled until probably in August, but we're getting there and we're crawling before we ball, So we're getting there step by step.
Love it.
Coach, last one for you before we let you go, and we appreciate your time. You guys have been out in the recruiting trail a little bit for the spring. Obviously, July is a huge month for you. But what have you guys gotten done on the agenda? I know it's just a small time, but it seems like you're obviously making the state a priority, but You're not just putting all your eggs into that basket. What have you guys kind of accomplished so far, you think, on that recruiting trail?
I think that you have to have a huge presence, and you have to evaluate the state correctly. And I think that we've identified some guys here in the state that is very important to us and that are priorities to us. But at the same time, this is AP Associated Press put out a report that's huge, and they ranked the top 100 programs in the history of college basketball. And the University of Illinois was ranked 11th. I mean, I'm prideful to work here, to be a part of the 11th best college basketball program in the history of college basketball. With that being said, this is a national place. This isn't only a Chicagoland, Illinois place. Although we're gonna do our job and we're gonna take care of our state, and hopefully our state will take care of us. But at the end of the day, I think that we have the ability to go some other places because we're in the Big Ten, the most visible conference in the country. I mean, we have the Big Ten Network, which is in the over 100 million homes or whatever the number is. We have Fox Sports now, we have CBS Sports now, we have ESPN. So this is a national stage, and I think that because of the way that the league is formatted in terms of the Big Ten footprints, we're on the East Coast, we're in the Midwest, we're in some places where we have to identify and target some other guys in some other areas. And I think that we've done a good job in the spring of doing that. We have some offers out there to some really good players, and we're just going to continue to chop away at this wood, man. And hopefully we get lucky and blessed and land some of these kids and continue to put together a Final Four, top 11th in the country, Associated Press program.
I like the sound of that. Illini basketball assistant Chin Coleman. Coach, we appreciate your time today, sir. Welcome to the Tay and J Show, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Coach. Chin Coleman. Ronald Chin Coleman, but just call him Chin.
Yeah, he said he tried to, when he was a staffer.
Yeah.
It was Nebraska.
It was Nebraska, yeah.
Tim Miles, they tried Ronald out for a couple days, and he kept calling him Chin, and Chin's like, Coach Ronald. He's like, I can't do it, Chin.
Can't do it. We're just going with Chin.
He just put the kibosh to it.
And I think we didn't ask him, but I've heard and I think read on your site the fact that he wants to be known more than just the Chicago guy.
I mean, that's a big part of what he's doing
without a
here.
doubt. Without a doubt.
But yes, he doesn't want to be just known as the Chicago guy because they want to recruit everywhere. And I think you've really seen a lot of East Coast, a lot of Florida offers. Mm-hmm. And Antigua obviously has some connections there. But they have Walker and Coleman on the staff to blanket this state.
Absolutely.
You have Walker in downstate, and then you have Chin Coleman in Chicago. I mean, everybody should be recruiting Chicago, especially the head coach needs to be up there too. But Chin, I mean, they have made it a priority. When you're the first high major to offer George Conant, the first high major to offer Chris Payton, they're saying, hey, we're taking care of you guys first.
Right.
you got to take care of us, too.
And he said that.
Yeah.
He said that. Let's hope the state takes care of us. When we come back, I want to ask you, it does seem like this staff, and maybe it's me, that early on it seems like this, but it seems like this staff has thrown out a lot of offers. Yes. And I think that confuses people sometimes, Jeremy. In other words, you think to yourself, well, they've only got 4 spots. Why are they offering 15 guys? When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about that, kind of break that down as to why they're doing this and how this staff differentiates from the old staff of John Gross and crew, and maybe how it's different or similar to a lot of other staffs around the country.
Also, Scout.com released an updated top 100 for the class of 2018, and a couple of Illini targets. There's one big one that lost a star and another kid that gained a star that Illinois has made a priority.
Is Lucas Tay on the top 100?
Andrew Tay might be soon. For the class of 2020,
whatever that is.
Whatever it is.
You better start looking at him. He's knocking him down.
I heard some big news today.
It was a big day for him.
Are we going to share that at some point?
We can, yes. And then I'll share, and he'll be so mad at me, I'll share what happened after.
Ooh.
Which is even bigger than what happened during.
See, I didn't know if you were going to share that part, but that's the best part of the story.
On. If you're a son of Lante and your dad's on this show, everybody's going to learn your life, and you're going to be embarrassed. You better toughen up. It's the Tay and J Show.
From buyers and sellers inspections before the sale, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. We also provide radon testing with results back in 48 hours. From Champaign to Savoy and Gifford to Gibson City, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. Get more details and schedule your inspection today at aamarshall.net.
Need an oil change? See your Champaign CarX man. Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get a full-service oil change starting at $24.99 with tire rotation and brake inspection. From oil changes to engine repair and everything in between, CarX Tire and Auto has been serving Champaign for almost 40 years with 3 convenient locations. Your Champaign CarX man has the right oil for your vehicle at a great price, $24.99. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
It's easy to put off saving for retirement, but it's just as easy to start. So where to begin? Start with Thrivent Financial. We will help you define your financial goals and take steps to help you reach them. It comes down to making wise decisions about your money, because even small steps add up fast. Contact Dean Hall or Bruce Paulsrud today at 217-819-4646. Licensed agent producers of Thrivent Financial. Marketing name for Thrivent Financial for Lutherans. Registered representatives of Thrivent Investment Management, Inc. Thrivent.com/disclosures.
American Cancer Society's Relay for Life is coming to downtown Champaign on Saturday, June 17th.
Head on down and enjoy music from Spring Duo, Tin Shed, Midnight Remedy, and the Zach Gable Experience. With the breast cancer rowing team, Prairie Dragon paddlers involved, as well as a drum circle to beat out cancer.
The American Cancer Society's Relay for Life, June 17th in downtown Champaign's West Side Park. Details on Facebook or head to relayforlife.org/Champaign.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It's that time of year again when the weather warms up and people are looking to get into shape for the summer.
Yes.
The Mettler Center in Champaign can help. They have a philosophy of whole life fitness, building your mind, body, and soul with a wide variety of opportunities, including group classes, personal training, nutritionists, weight loss programs, massage therapy, and more. The Mettler Center can formulate a fitness plan that's best for you and get you into summer shape. Stop in at the Mettler Center, 2906 Crossing Court at the corner of Windsor and Duncan in Champaign. Visit MettlerCenter.com for more information on whole life fitness.
It is the Tay and J Show. Lante, Jeremy Warner, just visited with Chin Coleman, Illini basketball assistant, and we're going to visit at the top of the hour with Patrick Donnelly. He was the high school coach of Greg Eboig Bowden, the newest commit to the University of Illinois. Excited to talk to him, and really I'm excited to hear not only did he get better his senior year, but how much and in what stages? In other words, what areas did he really improve?
And does he call him Spicy G?
I like this. I like this Spicy G. Is that his Twitter handle, you think? Spicy G?
I think it's a Gregory Michael or something like that.
Well,
really proper.
And the other thing that I liked what Chin Coleman said is that he's a kid of high character.
Yeah.
And you
that
like
stuff
that.
does matter.
It does. It does. And I think that's important down the road. All right. I asked you, this Illini coaching staff has offered a ton of guys. I don't know a number, but they have thrown out a lot of offers. Is this that different from other staffs?
It's different than the last staff.
Okay.
And especially in this class. I mean, the last staff did not have a wide net for the 2018 class because they were focused on just adding 1 or 2 players.
Right.
And this staff could add 4.
Okay.
And with attrition, maybe even more. Right?
And that's not even the other staff's fault, really.
No,
because
they
had everything set up in 17.
They were hoping to Tillman, Smith, Pickett, DeMonte, Trent Frazier. I mean, that's a big class, and obviously Jeremiah Tillman would have filled a huge need for you. So, this is a little bit different. I think the areas they're recruiting, I mean, Florida, they are all in on.
Okay.
I mean, they're not all in on, but they are definitely pushing there, pushing more into Michigan, a little bit into Texas. Obviously, if there's kids in St. Louis, they'll show some attention there, but a couple New York kids as well, because Antigua has some connections out there. So I do think they're casting a wider net. They are covering the state, but I think it's because they have a staff of guys with, especially with Antigua, that has more national connections.
Got it.
Now, will that pay off?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think
the question.
You're going to make your bones on the state.
Yes.
But you need to get a prospect or two from some other areas, and John Gross's staff did that.
Yeah,
some
LaRon
of the
Black.
best players,
sure,
whether it's LaRon Black or Jalen Comelands, came from elsewhere. So Trent Frazier's a very nice prospect. They're bringing him from Florida. But I'm interested to see, because Orlando Antigua's kind of set his sights high for some prospects. Can they land that?
Okay.
Is Illinois in position to land that?
Okay.
I don't think that's going to be easy.
No.
I still think 2018, your top targets are Desunmu, Finke, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and George Condit. And those are the kids you probably have the best chance at because they're in-state kids. Now, can you go find another prospect or two to maybe fill in? Maybe.
Right.
But the top 100, top 50 kids, I think that's going to be a little tougher for Illinois.
And that'll be up to Underwood and the staff to win. And when you win, then it makes it a little bit easier to go out and find that. Now, this will never happen. But these are questions I get from the general public on occasion. Is if they're offering 15 kids with 4 scholarships, what if all 15 say, "Yep, I'm in"? Well, I mean, that's not going to happen. But explain a little bit about that. Obviously, they're throwing out the offers.
First come, first serve.
And it's one of those situations where they basically say, "Here it is. If you want it, take it."
So if Io DeSumo commits,
boom,
they're not going to probably take another point guard unless he can play, because they already have so many guys with the ball in it. They got to sell DeSumo that he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot.
Sure.
Right, because there's a lot of players on this roster. Mark Smith, Trent Frazier, DeMonte Williams can play off the ball a little bit.
Right.
There's Tijon Lucas. I mean, these are all guys with the ball in their hands. They're going to have to sell that. But Taylor Horton-Tucker and Tim Finke, they're probably not going to commit to the same school.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because they fill the same role.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And they are competitors, but they want a spot where they're going to play, and they have a given role. They don't want to have to transfer in a year. George Condit, if he commits, they're probably not going to get another center.
Fair enough.
Right? I mean,
fair enough.
That seems more unlikely that they'd add another guy like that.
Fair enough. And there are a lot in the state, and like you said, they're kind of blanketing the state a little bit, trying to make sure that they get those offers out to those guys.
Scout updated their top 100. Yes. Io DeSunmu lost a star. He's now a 4-star recruit, still a top 30 prospect.
Okay.
Do you like that, Lon?
You know what? Yes. Well, that's a great point. I hadn't thought of that, and I know where you're coming here.
8th point guard in the country, and he's the 29th overall prospect. It's a deep class.
How about Kentucky, Duke, Kansas? Keep your paws off. He's only a 4-star. You don't want him.
Taylor Horton-Tucker, I thought he earned a 4-star, but I guess he's still a 3-star. Tim Finke, number 83 in the country. He moved up from the 90s in that. And George Condit, a 3-star prospect. Another kid to watch, Tyron Mosley out of Chicago Orr. Doesn't have an offer yet, but he visited campus this week. He's number 87 in the scout. So the state might have a couple better prospects than we thought. That's from the national perspective.
Okay. That'll be interesting to follow along as we go. And, hey, you know what? We'll see. I mean, all of a sudden you've got a new staff. There's new optimism, if you will, with the Illini fans, and you've got some new talent coming in this year with the likes of a Trent Frazier and a Mark Smith. It'll be fun to watch these kids develop and see what they can do on the basketball court. One of those kids coming in is Greg Eboig-Bowden, or Spicy G, as we learned when we start next hour. We'll visit with Patrick Donnelly. He's the high school basketball coach at University of Detroit Jesuit. He coached Greg Eboig-Bowden. We'll ask him what we can expect out of the freshman next year. We'll also visit with some Illini football news. Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com, joins us at 4:30. It's a gusty but a solid 4 o'clock hour. Stick around. It's the Tay and J Show.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph. The official fan store of the Fighting Illini is moving. Game Day Spirit, currently located at 1422 South Neal Street, is moving to the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign this July. In the meantime, they're preparing for the lowest prices of the season to be available during their moving sale in June. Stay tuned for more information and follow them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram by searching Game Day Spirit. Stay in the know of all things Game Day and all things Fighting Illini with Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
The Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. And this is a Fox News alert, a highly anticipated day on Capitol Hill.
I don't think it's for me to say whether the conversation I had with the president was an effort to obstruct.
The fired FBI chief before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Fox's Jared Halpern was at the hearing and joins us live.
Former FBI Director James Comey believes his firing was a result of his handling of the FBI's look into potential ties between Russian officials and the Trump campaign.
Something about the way I was conducting it, the president felt created pressure on him that he wanted to relieve.
Comey asked a friend to release content from memos Comey had written detailing one-on-one conversations with the president. Comey says he was never directly ordered to stop any active investigation. Lisa.
Jared, President Trump's personal lawyer, Mark Kasowitz.
The president feels completely vindicated.
He says a public cloud was lifted when Comey confirmed the president wasn't under investigation, but he denies President Trump ever asked for loyalty or an end to the Michael Flynn investigation.
The president never, in form or substance, directed or suggested that Mr. Comey stop investigating anyone.
Kasowitz also accusing Comey of leaking classified information. The polls just closing in Britain. Fox's Simon Owen is live in London.
Elisa, 10 p.m. here, voting ending moments ago as Britons choose a new government, and an exit poll has just been published by UK broadcasters predicting it's going to be a bad night for Prime Minister Theresa May. This poll suggesting her Conservative Party will lose its majority in Parliament. May could still hang on to her job. Her party is still predicted to be the largest one, but it's far from certain. No majority means much political instability. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. Fox Reports, fair and balanced.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver, Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Summer involves a lot of driving, to camp, to work, to soccer, back home to grab what they forgot, and then back to soccer again. So wouldn't you like to know your car is up for it? Enter Hum by Verizon. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics, drive with more peace of mind thanks to 24/7 emergency assistance, and let the kids stream and game on the go with your car's own Wi-Fi hotspot. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com. Verizon Wi-Fi available on Hum X only. Data usage applies. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit vzw.com for availability.
During his Senate testimony today, James Comey also offering a forceful denial of any suggestion that Russian election meddling is a hoax.
They want to undermine our credibility in the face of the world. They think that this great experiment of ours is a threat to them, and so they're going to try to run it down and dirty it up as much as possible. That's what this is about, and they will be back because we remain, as difficult as we can be with each other, we remain that shining city on the hill, and they don't like it.
Comey says he has no doubt Russia tried to interfere in the election and that the Russian government knew. He also confirmed to lawmakers that then Attorney General Loretta Lynch told him to refer to the Hillary Clinton email probe as a matter instead of an investigation, something he says he considered strange, but not a hill worth dying on, as he put it. There's breaking news right now out of Georgia about a church bus crashing in the Atlanta area. There are early reports of an undetermined number of injuries. The bus was from Mount Zion Baptist Church in Huntsville, Alabama. There were a mixture of 11th and 12th grade students and adults on board. Singer Phil Collins postponing his tour because of injury.
Phil Collins is in the hospital after a nasty fall. As a result, the musician postponed his tour. According to a statement on his Facebook page, which reads, Phil suffers from drop foot as a result of a back operation, which makes it difficult to walk. He rose in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and slipped in his hotel room. The statement said he had stitches for a severe gash on his head close to his eye and is recovering well.
Fox's Michelle Polino. Collins postponing some of the London shows until November. He is expected to resume his tour this Sunday in Germany, though. Gains on Wall Street, the Dow up 8 points. The NASDAQ, though, to a new record high, up 24 at 63.21.
Money.
In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Money, 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 money. I was going to let you take that next. High.
How do I get the high notes?
I don't know.
I have a deep voice over here. There's your ESPN.
I can surprisingly, because of back in the days with Hair Nation,
Falsetto,
I can surprisingly get a little bit higher than you think.
Get that whistle going.
I've never done drugs, though, so no high on that end.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you cool all summer long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight clear, low 61. Friday sunny, high 87, low 64. Even warmer Saturday, high 89 and sunny, a low of 66. We need rain. Probably not going to get till next week, but we're going to get plenty of 90s over the next week as well. Right now, sunny clear, 84 in Champaign-Urbana.
Doesn't it make you just want to go out and walk some beans?
Just want to jump in a pool.
Right? You and I are not here tomorrow. We're taking the rare day off together. Have we ever done that?
Yes, we have. Not very often, but Carp is going to fill in with the interns tomorrow.
It's Carp and the interns. This sounds like a spinoff of the Tay and J Show.
Carp and the interns.
Carp and the interns. You'll hear it nightly from 6 to 7. Right here on ESPN 93.5. Now, it is funny. I'm going to actually golf tomorrow for the first time all year, and maybe the only time all year. I'm going to go golf in an outing. You've got a wedding or something, don't you?
No, I got...
No. You and Tip are leaving.
No. Ron doesn't pay attention to my life. I'll be at St. Louis for an Illinois football camp.
Oh, that's right. You're actually working.
Yes, I'm actually working.
That's my bad. I will not be working. I can promise you that right now. All right, it's the Tay and J Show. Lon Tay, Jeremy Werner. At the bottom of this hour, we'll visit with Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com. Talk to him about some Illinois football news and some recruiting there. We finished last hour with Chin Coleman, Illinois basketball assistant coach. He was a key in recruiting Greg Eboig-Bowden.
And we'll talk now with the coach of Greg Eboig-Bowden at the high school level, Patrick Donnelly, University of Detroit Jesuit high school coach. Thanks for joining us, Coach. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty well, thanks.
Well, we asked Chin what he calls Greg Eboig-Bowden because we want to shorten it up a little bit for a nickname. He said Spicy G. I'm guessing you don't call him that.
Greg will call himself that, but I never got into that habit.
Does Ebo work? I mean, I need something better than Eboig-Bowden. It's too long, Coach.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I just called him G for the last 4 years that I've worked with him.
That's perfect. Well, listen, Coach, we're excited with the news about Greg Eboig-Bowden. Kind of came on the scene, obviously a UIC commit. What is Illinois getting with this young man?
Well, I think a diamond in the rough. I've seen a lot of comments, people a little concerned about his ranking I wouldn't be concerned. I mean, this kid came in 4 years ago as a soccer player, never played basketball, and in that short amount of time, he's become a relentless rebounder, averaged 14 rebounds a game for us this year, was All-State the last 2 years, has been an All-Catholic League performer the last 3 years, has a state championship under his belt. He's a tremendous competitor, a great defender, and a very solid athlete.
So, Coach, when you get a kid like this who's never played basketball before, what's the first step? Like, where do you start? Because most kids at least are familiar with the game or have played a little bit at some level. Like, how did you start with him?
It was all around the basket, and it really came down. He had great feet. Having played soccer his whole life, really athleticism in terms of moving laterally and those type of things and pivoting wasn't too difficult for him. He worked tremendously hard in the weight room, so he became a better athlete. When he first got here, he was about 6'7", couldn't dunk. Now he's got a 9-foot standing reach, and
wow.
He'll surprise some people. He'll be rebounding, at his head at the rim. So he's a very solid athlete and a great kid, a hard worker, and a great listener, and he wants to be better. He's a sponge.
He was a mid-major signee, so he gets that label. Illini fans, UIC, that's the lower sister school, right? But he seems to have progressed, a lot during his career, but how much did he progress during his senior year?
Well, I would say the biggest jump was made between junior and senior year. He was a 10-10 rebound guy for us as a junior, and became a much better offensive player and strength. Just a nose for the ball, better timing, blocking shots. He made all those strides in between his junior and senior year. He shot 66% from the field for us. So he's got some offensive skill. I would say he's developing a jump shot. He'll tell you that he's a great three-point shooter. He did shoot 75% on 4 attempts. He told me he should have been able to shoot more, but I think it was more selectivity that made him a good shooter. But he is developing offensively, and I think his best basketball is ahead of him.
Old Spicy G, drilling it from deep. We're visiting with Patrick Donnelly. He's the University of Detroit Jesuit high school basketball coach. He coached Greg E. Bowden. We really appreciate his time here on the Tay and J Show, Lonte and Jeremy Werner. You talk about a kid, Coach, we've talked about everything good so far. How about what he really will need to work on as he gets into Big Ten play? Obviously just a freshman, but is going to be something that I think this coaching staff may count on him for some minutes next year. So what are some of the things that he still obviously will need to improve on in his game?
Well, he'll have to develop, continue to develop more skills offensively. I think he's been able to rebound because of his size and athleticism at the high school level. He's going to have to be much more of a position rebounder and really work to get inside position and wedge rebounding and those types of things to be able to compete at the Big Ten level. And he stopped in the office yesterday, and we were talking, and I said, "You're 217, 220 pounds. By November, I guess that the coaches are going to want to put 20 pounds on you so you can bang with the big boys in the Big Ten." So I think that's going to be a big factor in his development, that he just really concentrates on getting in the weight room and eating right and doing all the things that he needs to do to prepare himself for the Big Ten play.
Like Lon said, I think they're probably going to count on him to play some minutes. I'd love always to redshirt most post players, Coach, but yes. Do you think he'll be ready to play?
I think he'll be ready to compete on the boards. I think he'll be ready to defend. He's a very good athlete, as I mentioned, so he can get out and he can guard a ball screen. He can guard multiple positions. I think offensively he's gonna have his challenges in Big Ten play, but I think he'll be able to give them some minutes at the defensive end and rebounding the basketball and contesting shots. I don't know how many minutes. I mean, I don't know too much about Illinois, but from the sounds of it, they need some bodies inside. So hopefully he can be a contributor. I just wouldn't expect him to be a big scorer.
Coach, what is Illinois getting as a person here? Chin Coleman, we just had him on. You know him, obviously. I mean, he was singing the praises of the character of this kid.
really high character, tremendous student, very dedicated to his studies. I told Chin, during the recruiting process last fall, this is a kid you're never going to have to chase him to class. He's a student of the game. He'll watch film. He'll do everything that he needs to do. He stays out of trouble. He's not a big partier or anything like that. He's just a really good kid from a strong family. He's lived with a great host family here in Detroit, and a high character kid with that very polite. I think you can't find a better kid.
Patrick Donnelly, our guest, for a couple of more questions. University of Detroit Jesuit High School coach. He coached Greg Boyd-Bowden, Illinois' newest recruits. Coach, we learn about G, or Spicy G, as we go along here. We're also learning about Chin Coleman as an assistant at Illinois, obviously in his first year. What was it like dealing with Coach Coleman? Obviously did a great job in recruiting Greg. What was that like, and what are your thoughts on Chin Coleman and what Illinois fans are getting in an assistant coach?
Yeah, he did a great job recruiting Greg. He was in our gym an awful lot. He spent a lot of time maintaining that relationship. On the phone with him, texting, coming out to games. I just think that was the difference. Greg had some options here late after he decided to decommit from UIC. But ultimately, it was the relationship and the comfort level that he had with Chin that really led him to committing to Illinois, and that says a lot about Chin. I think he worked hard to develop that relationship and maintain that relationship throughout the year.
Coach, last one before we let you go, and we do appreciate your time. You have a pretty good one playing at Michigan State. I know he probably got lost in the shuffle with Miles Bridges and Nick Ward, but Cassius Winston's going to be the point guard of a very, very good team this year. What are you expecting from him as a sophomore?
I was just talking about him today with an alum who called me about him, and he said, my comment to him was it's very much like Cassius's high school career. His freshman year, he was kind of feeling his way through things. His sophomore year really came on strong, and I talked to Cassius after the season this year, and he said, I figured it out. I finally figured out what the coaches want, what it is exactly that I need to do. And he'll be ready sophomore year. So I would expect some big things out of Cassius this year. Maybe some more minutes, and wouldn't shock me to see him lead the Big Ten in assists.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds like you've got a pretty good gig up there, Coach.
You know what? I've been very fortunate. It's a great place. Great players make great coaches. So,
amen.
I've been very fortunate to have some good ones.
Well, listen, we would welcome you down anytime to watch an Illini game. And Greg Boyd-Bowden, we appreciate your time. Patrick Donnelly, University of Detroit Jesuit High School coach. Good luck next season, Coach. Have a great summer.
Thank you, guys. You as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good stuff with Coach. Good speaker there. I like that. Mm-hmm. He says some good things about Greg Boyd-Bowden.
It's a diamond in the rough. I mean, it's obviously his kid, but he said two things. What he can do immediately.
Boom.
Rebound and defend.
Boom.
That's all you want him to do.
That's all we care about next year.
10 to 15 minutes of that.
Yep.
If he can do it.
Yes.
Right? And it seemed like he took some big progress the last year. I know UIC, when they signed him, was expecting to redshirt him.
Right.
Illinois, it would be great if they could.
Oh.
They can't right now unless they had a grad transfer, which I don't know if that's going to come through. So, yes, I mean, you're counting on him, but he did progress a lot this past year, and it sounds like he's got the work ethic to get better quickly.
That is huge, and it will be interesting to watch. And again, the thing that I'm kind of high on, and I'm not expecting this kid to come in and be an All-American at any point, but I'm high on the fact that he's only played basketball for 3 years, and he's already to this level to where he can come in and probably play some minutes at Illinois' freshman year. Now, what that speaks more to Illinois' program maybe with regards to lack of depth underneath, but if you think about it and you hope that this staff can develop, then wow, you think about him at junior, senior year, you get excited about that.
Like for me, I set a baseline for Mark Smith next year.
Yes.
Right. I'm thinking 11 to 14 points per game. With Trent Frazier, I hope he hits a 3 or 2 a game.
Yes.
Right? And gives you a little bit of scoring off the bench.
Gives you some energy.
6-7 points off the bench, something like that. DeMonte Williams, I don't expect much next year. Boyd, I don't know if there's stats.
No.
Right? That I sit there and go, give me this a game. Maybe 3 rebounds per game.
Just provide some depth and some minutes.
I mean, it's just rim protection.
Amen.
Defense. And the most encouraging thing I've heard the last, hour here talking about a Boyd-Bowden with Chin Coleman and now Patrick Donnelly is fast.
Yeah,
Like
no
for
doubt.
a 6'8", 6'9" guy who can get up and down the court, that's what they want because they're getting up and down the court with those guards.
And fast, to me, translates into athletic. And that's one thing that we have been hoping for at Illinois here for a few years is to become more athletic. And I think now you're starting to see that with Brad Underwood. The other thing is I'm not going to pretend that I sat down and watched every Stephen F. Austin game or Oklahoma State game last year. But even Greggy Boyd Bowden said that he was so excited and he started watching tape of Oklahoma State and how he fits into a Brad Underwood offense. That's the one thing that we as fans are going to learn together on how Brad Underwood does this, how his offense works for a 6'9", 6'10" kid.
Boyd Bowden is a very good display of what they're looking for in recruiting because they have offered like 3 or 4 kids originally from Africa who played soccer, who are 6'8" to 6'9", 215 to 240 pounds that get up and down the court. That's your 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically Nana Egwu. That's what they're looking for in their 5 because it's versatile. That's what the NBA is going towards, right? That's what the college game has gone towards. When you have that many players who can shoot and score, you need a guy who can rim protect. You need a guy who can crash the glass and just defend and cover up some flaws of size-wise elsewhere.
I'm old. I lose trains of thoughts sometime. But who's the soccer coach here at Illinois? That comes
Janet
on.
Rayfield?
Yeah, Janet. I wonder if she's going to be like, hey, Greg, can you come out to practice and help us out? Because I want to see a 6'9" or 6'10" dude dribbling the ball down the pitch.
Yeah.
How about that? That was pretty good soccer lingo.
Yeah, look at you.
Dribbling down the pitch. Take that, Cliff.
Is it called dribbling?
I don't know. I think.
I think it is. That's a serious question for me. I played soccer like once a year in gym class.
Right. And I was pretty good at it.
Like, no, my area, Piatone Mantino, it was all about soccer.
But you just never really played.
I was a baseball kid.
Villa Grove, we had it for a week in PE. It was like, hey, guys, we're playing soccer this week.
I was okay at it.
Yeah, and everybody
I
else
like
was
shooting.
like, oh, man, and Little Lon, Hyper Little Lon was
you
like,
would have been a perfect soccer player.
I think so. I've told people that. I'm like, I think I grew up a generation late. I think I could have been a heck of a soccer player.
Like
I wasn't fast, but I could get around, and I could run endlessly.
I should have wrestled.
Yes.
I am built to be a wrestler.
You are. You're compact.
I like eating. Right? I enjoy eating.
You'd have to cut weight. That wouldn't be good.
Dropping weight.
No, that wouldn't be good.
No, having like the ears, the cauliflower ears.
Oh, no.
Not for me.
No, that wouldn't look good.
I was built like it. I probably would have been okay at it.
That wouldn't look good.
No.
All right, I'm going to spill it on Andrew, and I'm about ready to get in trouble.
Can we tease it?
You want to tease it?
Yeah, tease this into that. Okay. Andrew had a phenomenal performance, an athletic feat he should remember
for the rest of his life.
And I'm not joking when I say that. But he also followed it up
with something,
with a moment of despair.
Yes, he did, and a moment that Jeff Finke will never forget the rest of his life. And before the hour's up, we will fill you in on what my young one, the ornery one, did today.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. Is the Ohio State job not that good?
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll talk about that next.
It is the Tay and J Show. Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today.
Oh, hey, hi, hello there. It's me, your air conditioner. You can call me AC if you want, but Mr. Conditioner is my dad's name. Okay, listen, you may have noticed that I'm using a lot of energy right now, and that's why you need to call an expert. Yep, the experts can give me a precision tune-up, so you'll save up to 30% on energy bills, and I won't have to work so hard, which is great because I'm about to pass out.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save $41 off an AC Precision Tune-Up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS. Hey, what are we doing for your birthday party this summer?
Well, I was hoping to have a cookout like last summer.
What? Don't you remember all those mosquito bites we got last year?
Good news, girls. Not only is Prairie View taking care of everyone's dandelions, now I'm going to take care of all the mosquitoes, too.
Yay!
Enjoy a bug-free summer. For all your mosquito control needs, call Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping and Turf Management at 355-9422. That's 355-9422 for mosquito control from Prairie View Landscaping.
Market declines, unemployment, oil prices. Today's headlines can be scary. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Mike Kessel. I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of short-term events and how to be positioned for the long term. We provide the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Stop by our office, 1701 Broadmoor Drive, Suite 110 for a face-to-face appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Juan, we've been keeping in shape with the Mettler Center for a while now, but fitness is just one part of what they offer.
If you're in pain, Mettler Physical Therapy offers a complimentary consultation.
Best of all, it's all personalized. It's treatment by a licensed doctor of physical therapy in a private setting.
And they're pretty good at it, too. They have a 98% satisfaction rating for their patients' experience.
If you have a question for a physical therapist, visit MettlerCenter.com and click on Ask an Expert.
The Mettler Center at the corner of Windsor and Duncan in Champaign. Visit online at MettlerCenter.com.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. For a limited time, Lands is offering special financing for 6 years or up to $1,000 trade-in allowance. Your choice, with approved credit on any qualifying train system. So call Lands at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR for details or find us online at landsinc.com. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands or visit train.com for complete program eligibility dates, details, and restrictions.
Baseball is back at Pia's, and Pia's is your home for the world champion Chicago Cubs. Enjoy the game while filling up with their famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger, along with great wings and so much more. Watch the Cubs all season long at Pia's Sports Bar. With live video gaming, great drinks, sports, food, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
So I'm chatting with Dan from Champaign Surplus. You're changing how you do business in a really groundbreaking way. You're taking Price Match to a whole new level. So tell me about that.
We've had Price Match in our store for a while now, and what we found is that a lot of people don't want to actually ask for the Price Match. And what we've done is we will just automatically check the internet for you. Our associates are walking around with devices where they can scan the internet, and we'll find the lowest price that we can for you, and that's what we'll sell it to you for.
Now, what if I find a lower price online?
We're happy to honor that as well.
So if you or I find a price that's lower than the manufacturer's price, I'm going to get that price, period. If there's a sale somewhere else, there's a sale for me at Champaign Surplus.
Absolutely. And you'll find that price, you'll get that price, and you'll be able to walk out with your item that day.
So how long does it take for us to find the best price for me?
No longer than a normal shopping trip.
I'm going to get the lowest price online. You're going to find it for me instantly.
Yes.
If I find something myself that's lower than what you find, you'll give it to me.
Yes.
And best of all, I'm supporting a small business that's been in our community for 70 years.
Yes.
So at Champaign Surplus, any sale is their sale. Check it out today in downtown Champaign.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Everybody run real fast.
So I know the Cardinals, not really drawing your attention, but Cardinals continue to have great promotions.
They do.
So they host the Pirates, a big weekend of promotions, including an adult Cardinals pullover, Bob Gibson bobblehead, and kids Fredbird bobblehead.
What?
Great weekend of promotions. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
I cannot wait, because I know you will. I cannot wait until Fredbird eats Torrin's head, because he does that to all babies. You know, he sticks that beak over his... It scared the hell out of Lucas and Andrew.
Pretty terrifying.
Oh, my goodness. This huge
because they probably think
bird.
It's a real bird.
Right. Fredbird just walked up to Andrew and he's like... swallowed him, and Andrew's like...
The scariest mascot.
Ooh. That's a good... That'd be a good... For our trivia, or for our text line.
Yeah, you can text those into 359-2255.
Mascots.
The Providence Friar.
Yeah, that dude is weird.
Shannon Ryan told me that when I went out there to watch him play Chris Dunn, and they almost beat him.
Yes.
And shut down Chris Dunn, which didn't make any sense.
And still didn't win.
There's nobody on that team.
No.
I think he just the dunk.
I know. That's
which,
right.
In your story coming up, you'll find out.
Here we go.
Come on, Mike. Get better. But the Providence Friar up close is ridiculous.
Is it just a blob or whatever?
No, it's a real friar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm in my mind. I got something different in my mind. All right. Yes, you've shown me a picture. I think of that. That's some scary stuff. All right. So Andrew Tay today. They ended Champaign Central basketball camp. Did a great job over there. You're showing me. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the Providence.
Come on. You'd have nightmares about that dude.
Right.
Come
He's
on.
got ghost thing on, and a weird-looking face.
He's creepy.
Yeah, he's creepy.
No, I agree with you. All right, so today at basketball camp, yesterday Tim Finke was there, and that was kind of a neat thing for the kids to see Tim. And then today, Michael Finke showed up. So all 6'10", 6'11", whatever Michael is, playing at the University of Illinois.
Man bun and all.
So they decide to play a game of knockout. And I assume everybody out there knows what knockout is, but it'd be like me. I'm right behind you. You shoot first. If you don't make it, if I make mine before you do, you're knocked out, right? So all the campers started, and Michael. It got down to Michael and Andrew beat him. Legitimately beat him. Jeff Finke said he legit.
So Michael missed his shot.
Yep.
Did Andrew sink his free throw?
I don't know how. I couldn't get it out of Andrew how exactly the game-winning shot ended up, but I want to hear that. I don't know if it was a layup.
It'd be awesome because Andrew's a confident kid.
Yes.
If Michael missed his free throw, Andrew steps back, takes a three.
Yeah, and just says you're garbage as he shoots it because
I want to see how much garbage you are.
Don't put that past Andrew. So I guess this game went on and on. And Jeff said Andrew was just running
for like
all
20
over
minutes or
yes.
something.
So finally, he beats Michael. He wins knockout. It's the best moment of his life. He just beat a D1 kid, and then he hurls all over the place. Just yaks it all up. And I'm like, yes!
If you're going to spew
Exactly.
this.
So as Jeff said, he goes, Dad, that's a badge of honor moment right
so,
there.
Like, does the after effect does that
outweigh the...
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Is the downside of that take away from the greatness of the moment he had?
I think if that were me, I'd be so stinking happy. I'd be like, yep, I just beat you and puked.
And you saw him a couple hours later. How was the little guy doing?
He looked bad. Like he was getting ready to go on a bike ride in Philo, and I'm like, hey, that's a cool moment today. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, all right, you look like you need a nap. Yeah. I'm like, so you beat Michael? Yeah. I'm like, all right, see you, buddy. Good chat.
Good talk,
Great
kid.
chat with my 10-year-old. But yeah, so he was all fired up and all excited. So this might be the pinnacle of his career. Like it might all go downhill from here.
That's not a terrible pinnacle.
It's not.
Right?
It's totally
like
not.
My athletic peak was about 10 years old.
Striking out.
Well, Tanner Roark ruined my peak.
I never had a peak.
I was getting chubby and not good at sports anyway. I was 13, 14
Stupid
around
ships.
then. And Tanner Roark was just so dang good.
Yeah, right.
Striking me out as a little leaguer. Wilmington, they were so good. But no, like 10 years old, that was about my peak.
Yeah.
Dominating basketball because I could make a layup.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, if you could make a layup.
I could make contact with a baseball decently hard.
Yep. That's probably.
Pick up a grounder.
Because I think I was an all-star in Little League.
Yeah,
so that was probably 12-year-old for me.
I was an all-star many years, and
that's about it for me too.
Then people started throwing curveballs.
Right?
Like what? What's that?
That 1 week of PE soccer though, I've always got that, man. I've always got that. No, that was good. That was a fun story for Andrew, and congrats to the little snothead. That's exactly what he is.
.431, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update. The Cardinals lose their 7th in a row this afternoon. Get swept in a 4-game series to Dan Hartleb's Cincinnati Reds. 5-2 loss. One bright spot, Matt Carpenter batting leadoff for the second straight game. Homers for the second straight game.
Nifty.
Addison Russell not in the Cubs lineup tonight. He has been accused of domestic abuse. He and his wife are separating. Russell says in a statement that is false, that those are false claims. I guess a friend on Instagram made these accusations.
Oh, you're kidding me.
His wife made accusations that he cheated and all that stuff. So ugly situation, Addison Russell.
And he's kind of struggling anyway right now.
Not in the lineup tonight.
Okay.
Illinois basketball will play at Wake Forest as part of the 2017 ACC Big Ten Challenge.
Chris Paul.
Illinois 1-1 all-time against the Demon Deacons. They have never played in Winston-Salem. Last showdown was a memorable one. Number 3 Illinois defeating number 1 Wake Forest 91-73 at Assembly Hall during the 04-05 season. Illinois claimed the number 1 ranking in the country after that win and held it until a national championship loss to North Carolina. Some of the non-conference schedule starting to all come together for Illinois. They play games so far confirmed against New Mexico State at the United Center, DePaul in Champaign, Missouri at the Scott Trade Center, Wake Forest at Winston-Salem, and UNLV at Las Vegas. Ohio State's still looking for a coach. They reportedly offered the job to Creighton coach Greg McDermott And he said no.
Wow.
Chris Mack of Xavier also said he is staying at Xavier. And Bulls coach Fred Hoiberg reportedly has been part of the discussions. He said not going to Ohio State.
Okay, so
Buckeyes still looking for a coach.
Billy Donovan's still begging for it. I kid with that. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. We're going to talk about that Ohio State job, but I have one question. The schedule for Illinois, not a bad little schedule so far. I kind of enjoy. I mean, obviously the Missouri game's every year, but it's going to ramp up this year with Tillman. You're playing DePaul. I'll ask you this, not only about the schedule itself, and if you want to weigh in 359-2255, but a lot of times, Jeremy, a team will tailor their schedule for their talent.
Yeah.
And say, all right, listen, we don't have a ton of experience. We're not going to go out and play Duke, et cetera. Do you think this schedule is fair for this team coming back for Illinois?
I think it's interesting. I think Missouri is a similar tier team to you. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. is a better player than any player on Illinois.
Yep.
But I think the rest of that roster is really young. And Illinois has, some experience coming back. So I think that's going to be a very good game.
Okay.
UNLV, they're on the rise, but Illinois, that's a road game, though.
Right.
So that can really help your RPI if you can steal one on the road. They have some young talent on that team, but I do think Illinois should win that game. That's a game I think they need to win. New Mexico State at United Center, you got to win that. DePaul at home, you got to win that. But Wake Forest is a good matchup because it won't hurt Illinois.
Right.
Wake Forest just had their best year since 2010. First year they made the tournament since then. First time they've had a winning record since then. They went 19-14. Danny Manning, their third-year coach.
That's right.
Went 9-9 in the ACC last year. Lost to Brucey and Kansas State in the first four of the NCAA tournament. They did lose their leading scorer and rebounder, John Collins. He averaged 19.2 points, 9.8 rebounds per game.
Okay.
But pretty much the rest of that roster's coming back. They had a good recruiting class that includes a top 40 recruit. Bryant Crawford averaged 16.2 points, 5.5 assists. Keyshawn Woods averaged 12.5 points. That's a good team.
Right.
I would imagine they're going to be probably 5-6 point favorites in that game, depending on where those teams are early in the season.
Be a good test.
Illinois 3-7 on the road in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, but I think that's a good test for Illinois. That's probably the best opponent on their non-conference schedule. Missouri might be in that mix as well, but I like that game for Illinois because it's not one of those this is a terrible ACC team, so you lose.
Right.
Doesn't help you. This one could help you.
Right. I've forgotten. Do we have a United Center game?
New Mexico State.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You said that. New Mexico State at the United Center. Well, listen, I think it's a schedule that piques your interest. And like you said, there's some challenges. And the Missouri thing, thanks to Conzo Martin and Brad Underwood, that they have, both gotten both programs to where at least it's excitable now to watch because last year that was just,
There's not a top 10, 20 team on here. I think Wake Forest is probably a tournament team.
Michigan State might be Michigan State will be the best team you play. Right?
I mean, Missouri. Easy. Yeah, Missouri will be maybe a tournament team.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That'll be interesting. And then the Big Ten, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Now, when we play Ohio State, when Illinois plays Ohio State, I assume they'll have a coach.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be very good, though.
I don't think they will be either. It'll be interesting to see what kind of coach they get. Of course, a lot of the big names, you throw those out immediately, but now it looks like Greg McDermott has turned them down.
What do you make of that?
I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Creighton is not a better job than Ohio State.
No, it's not.
It's a good job and a better job than most people probably assume because the basketball fans there are crazy.
Yes.
And they're in the Big East now.
Yeah.
So that's a good job. But I don't think many Creighton coaches outside of McDermott turn Ohio State down.
I
but
agree.
McDermott is a god there.
Yes, he is.
Right? And
he's
making good money there, and that he's had a comfort level there. He's not going to get fired. Right? So, Ohio State, you're immediately under the gun and producing 4 or 5 years or you're getting fired. He's got a comfortable spot. And that's the difference between, they're no longer a mid-major.
No.
They're a high major now, but these perceived former mid-majors, Wichita State's not that anymore.
No,
you could stay there for life, Greg
Yep.
Marshall.
Yep.
I don't think if I'm him, I don't leave.
No, I don't either.
I'm making $3.5-4 million there. They're not going to fire me. I'm comfortable here.
Sure.
We just moved up in the conference.
Yep.
I don't ever leave there.
I think Wichita State becomes Creighton eventually, and that's kind of the model that Wichita State's looking after. And ironically, they're both from the Missouri Valley and now out of the Mo Valley.
They're
But
in the AAC now.
With McDermott, I've always thought, even the last couple of years when his name would come up for a coaching, and never was he ever, obviously never left. I always thought to myself, he seems like a guy that's pretty comfortable where he's at.
Well, and my thing is, if you're Ohio State and you're an Ohio State fan, are you upset he turned him down? He doesn't
I don't think
excite
so.
me that much.
I see what you're saying. No, I'm hoping for someone with a bigger name. I'm not saying Greg McDermott's a heck of a coach.
Since his son left, they've gone 14-9, 20-15, 25-10.
Ooh, okay. Well, it sounds like maybe they're building back up.
I mean, they're playing in the Big East now.
That's true.
He is getting in on recruitments that they weren't getting in before. So he's recruiting better, but it's not like he's recruiting at the highest level. And maybe he could. I mean, maybe he'd be a great fit.
I agree.
But it's just not a given.
I mean, who's he recruiting against? When you think about where he's at, I didn't mean for this to turn into a Greg McDermott breaking down Creighton segment, but, he's recruiting not against Kansas. Obviously, Bill Self's going to get whoever he wants for the most part. But in that little Midwest, in that little middle of the country area, he's recruiting against 10 Miles in Nebraska
Iowa,
and winning
State.
those. Iowa State. And, I mean, he's confident he can win all of those. So that's interesting. But to the point now about Ohio State, what do they do next? Where do they go from here? If they're, let me ask you this. If they're interviewing Greg McDermott, does that mean that guys like Chris Holtmann are out, that Mack is out?
Well, it sounds like Mack is out. He tweeted out he's moving, but it's to northern Kentucky across the river.
Got it.
So he's staying in Cincinnati. The Miller brothers are not interested.
No. Okay.
I mean, Archie just got to Indiana.
Well, right.
Which I think is a better job than Ohio State. I think Ohio State's a really good job.
Oh, sure.
I think it's because of the resources. It could be an elite job, and Thad Matta has shown that.
Yes.
I think Chris Holtmann would be a very good hire.
I do too.
But after that, they've reached out to Mike Brown.
I would think that they would have reached out to Holtmann before even McDermott.
Maybe they have.
That's what I mean.
In
other
these
words,
are reports.
Sure.
But it seems like McDermott was pretty high on their list. But
okay.
I mentioned it. Mike Brown, the Warriors assistant.
Interesting.
Maybe it's thinking outside the box, but I just figured maybe Gene Smith, wouldn't he have a plan?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, if you're firing Mata in June,
I don't know, because
I would have hoped you've had your guy.
We've had ADs here in the past, Mark Thomas.
But if you're doing it
maybe
this
didn't have a plan.
time,
I know.
I'd at least have an idea of who's interested.
Yeah, and Gene Smith's been there a long time. He's certainly not Mike Thomas. So I'm sure that Gene Smith does have a plan, and we'll see it executed soon. All right, when we return, Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com. We're going to talk some Illini football. They added Antoine Walker, their third commit, yesterday, right? Was that yesterday or this week? We'll ask Ryan what we can expect in the weeks ahead for this Illini football staff with regards to recruiting. We'll do it next. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Got a question? Talk to our experts at StevieJay.com. Experts are ready to answer your questions for free. Looking for cool trends in clothing or gear as you support area teams? Game Day Spirit is the official fan store of the Fighting Illini. Landscaping tips are also available from Country Arbor's Nursery. New tile or soft surfaces in your home or business? Flooring Surfaces, where the world is at your feet. Experts are available now online at StevieJay.com.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Vapors e-cigs thinks it's time for you to take a permanent vacation from smoking. Take a permanent vacation away from cigarettes today. You'll smell better, you'll breathe better, and you'll feel better. Plus, you'll have more money than ever when you choose Vapors e-cigs. Come in today and taste the difference with a premium electronic vape. You can get started for less than a carton of cigarettes. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Vapors e-cigs today. Find them at Champaign across the street from Marketplace Mall at 2 West Main Street in Danville. And follow them on Facebook for great deal offers and giveaways.
Juan, we've been keeping in shape with the Mettler Center for a while now, but fitness is just one part of what they offer.
If you're in pain, Mettler Physical Therapy offers a complimentary consultation.
Best of all, it's all personalized. It's treatment by a licensed doctor of physical therapy in a private setting.
And they're pretty good at it, too. They have a 98% satisfaction rating for their patients' experience.
If you have a question for a physical therapist, visit MettlerCenter.com and click on Ask an Expert.
The Mettler Center at the corner of Windsor and Duncan in Champaign. Visit online at MettlerCenter.com.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Power up with Tempur-Pedic at Illini Mattress. Now through June 11th, get your best night's sleep and save up to $600 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, interest-free financing for up to 60 months with approved credit. You heard right. That's 5 years with no interest at Illini Mattress. We also provide free delivery, setup, and removal, and a $300 gift with the purchase of your life-changing Tempur-Pedic sleep system. Offer ends June 11th, so hurry in. This sleep is power. Tempur-Pedic at Illini Mattress.
The Urbana Business Association is excited to present the 4th annual Uncork Urbana Wine Festival on Saturday, June 10th. This year's festival is jam-packed with live local entertainment, wine basket raffles, amazing food trucks, and will feature Market at the Square's live cooking demonstrations from CU's finest chefs. And not to mention, we will have amazing Illinois wineries showcasing their remarkable wine. Grab your lawn chairs and blankets and join us at the beautiful Meadowbrook Park. For more information and to purchase tickets, make your way to the UBA or visit urbanabusiness.com.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Been a great show so far. Chin Coleman, Illini basketball assistant, joined us in hour one. This hour, to start the hour off, Patrick Donnelly. He was the high school basketball coach of Greg Eboig Bowden, the new Illini basketball recruit. And coming up soon, we'll visit with Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com.
So LeBron James gets criticized every time he passes to somebody in the final minute because Jordan never passed to anybody.
Absolutely not.
John Paxson, Steve Kerr, big shots.
Yep.
Passed it.
Isn't that
the
amazing?
right basketball play. So James hit Kyle Korver in the left corner for a three-point attempt with 52 seconds left in the game. Korver missed. Kevin Durant got the rebound and drilled that three in LeBron's face. Not only does James not regret making the pass to Korver, he would do it over again, and he explained why. This is from Brian Windhorst. Quote, I love this from LeBron.
Okay.
If I could have the play over again, I would come off a screen situation. Draymond would switch on me with 5 fouls. I would get him leaning. I would drive left. I would see Durant step up. I would see Stephen Curry drop on Kevin Love. And I would see Kyle Korver in the corner, one of the greatest three-point shooters in the league's history, and give him an opportunity in the short corner.
Yep.
I would do the exact same thing.
I love that. And that's what goes through their heads in a matter of a split second.
Because you know what LeBron did? He made the right basketball play, gave his team the best chance to make a big play.
That is correct.
Kyrie Irving did the exact opposite.
Yes.
And it was a wasted possession. Kyrie Irving went hero ball.
Yes, he did.
Which everyone wants LeBron to do that every time because they think Michael did that every time. Now, Michael took a lot of shots.
Oh, sure.
Because he should. I mean, he's Michael Jordan.
Well, LeBron's hit some big shots as well.
LeBron's hit some big shots as well, but they're different players.
Yes, they are.
I mean, Michael and Kobe are the most similar. LeBron is more similar to Magic,
That's
right?
correct.
I mean, those are kind of who the comps are if you want to compare them to.
I agree.
But LeBron made the right basketball play.
He totally did.
And Kyrie goes hero ball, gets a terrible shot attempt, and they had a chance for a 2-for-1 that would have given him another shot, and they didn't. He didn't. He wasted all the time on the clock.
He did.
So he didn't make the right basketball play. LeBron James did, and it bothers me every time. Well, he's got to shoot that shot. I understand there's certain moments you got to do that, but they're going to collapse on him.
In that spot, it was perfect.
Are we saying the same thing about Michael when he passed to Steve Kerr for the game winner? And
you know the difference is Kerr's went in.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the only difference.
Yeah.
And Kyle Korver is probably actually percentage-wise a better three-point shooter in the NBA than
Steve Kerr was one of the top three.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I bet I'd put my money on Kerr. Now that I think about it.
Well, Kyle's taking a lot more.
Yeah, he's taking a lot more. There's no doubt about that. But you're right. You make the right play. I remember the
Steve Kerr is the all-time.
Is he? Okay, well then.
45.4.
Wow.
Korver is 7th, 43.1.
Both of them are fair enough to shoot threes.
Hubert Davis, number 2 at 44. Steph Curry's number 3.
Is he really?
At 43.7, which how many attempts he takes? That's amazing. He shoots at that clip.
It is cool. And again, the thought process that was going through LeBron's mind on that play, and he does it like that. That's the amazing thing. That's the cool thing. That's what they're seeing. That's what you don't appreciate in greatness. And that's what he is.
Let's get to the Jupiter's Crossing phone line. Switch topics to Illini football recruiting. Got their third commit in this class. He's Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com. Antoine Walker commits to the Illini.
Guy
Ryan
can dunk.
I used to hit a bunch of threes for the Celtics. What do you make of the Oswego East defensive back?
Well, I think he's a guy that hasn't really been in the limelight for a long time, but obviously he has all the physical tools to be a really good cornerback. I've compared him already to Jalen Dunlap in some respects in that I think he's a little bit underappreciated as far as his potential. He's got guys around him that are pretty good as well, but he's a guy 6'1", about 175 pounds, just looks the part, good length, showed his speed at the Illinois camp, ran in the 4.4. So I think he's a guy that's got all the tools to be good, just needs the coaching and needs to be able to prove it and get a stage to prove that ability at the next level.
So Illinois has 3 commitments: Antoine Walker, Julian Pearl, Karan Taylor, all in-state prospects. The other thing they have in common, none of them had other Power 5 offers. What do you make of that?
Well, you take the good with the bad. It's good that you're finally getting some in-state guys, and you wanted to build from there, but we've talked about this before. You missed on a lot of the top in-state targets you had, and that's a problem. I don't think it's the end of the world, but it is a problem. You miss on a guy like a Greg Newsome, a Luke Ford, a Devin O'Rourke. Those are guys that are substantially high up on the skill level that you had a shot at. And I think that, for a lot of Illinois fans, to put it very technically, that stinks. But at the same time, they're sticking to their guns, and they've made a lot. They've done their homework on all the tape. They watch a ton of tape. You got a guy in James Kirkland who used to scout NFL players, so he knows what he's looking for. It's just a matter of, on the recruiting side, merging the evaluation and the recruiting together to get what you're really looking for in a finished product. So, the 3 guys they have in state, Karan Taylor, his film is fantastic from this high school season, and I think he's a guy that's going to develop. He's going to take a little bit of time to get there. But Illinois got him early, and that's probably why he didn't have more Power 5 offers.
Right.
The same could probably be said about Walker. And Pearl, the reason he probably doesn't have more is just because he's a development project. He's a guy that's undersized right now but has the length and the frame to be able to put that weight on later in his career. It's just going to take some time to get there.
Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com, talking Illini football recruiting. Bear with me here, Ryan, when I say this. Last year, Lovie Smith and the staff had the built-in excuse of, listen, they just had to hit the ground running. They were already months behind. And yet I think we would all agree the class they put together last year was fantastic in relative terms. Now you've got kind of almost about the same numbers at this point as you had last year, but is that excuse still built in? I mean, these are kids that were still being contacted by a lot of coaches 2-3 years ago. Can we still use a little bit of the excuse of Lovie Smith and this staff really haven't had a lot of time, even with kids committing this year?
I don't know that there's the excuse of not having time to build the relationships, but what I think there is the excuse of is not having time to build the program.
Okay.
Because you're looking at a guy who's had to deal with a very shorthanded roster in his first season of Illinois football, going 3-9, and there's a lot that you have to sell on the field to be able to sell it to these guys that want to buy in, and the whole playing time sell works for a while, but really what sells these kids on the program is success. Even if it's perception, it's success on the field. So I think as they're able to show that the players on the field are developing, as the team looks more respectable, as the team starts to win more games, that's what's going to be the big help. So they've started building these relationships. You hear in some of these kids when they decide on other schools, they say the relationship with Illinois was great. It's just I felt more at home with this program, which to me means I saw more wins at this program. So I think as they start to put more wins on the record sheet, then recruiting is going to become easier inherently through that. So once they start to do that, and that's going to be heavily dependent on how they coach them, but once they start to do that, recruiting is going to pick up steam. But what they were able to do last year, given the circumstances, was nothing short of fantastic. And they've got time left this year. They've still got time. They've got time to put together a good class. They've got time to close on some guys from out of state. I expect to see a huge emphasis out of state closer to signing day, similar to last year where they get a lot of guys from the Florida area, possibly some guys from Texas this year. But I think that it's going to take time to not only use those relationships, but also prove it on the field to really be able to start landing some of these guys more consistently.
Yeah, Ryan, my expectation, Luke Ford's when he gets, Alabama, maybe Arkansas is the surprise, but, Alabama, some of these other huge offers, it's going to be tough for Illinois to win those kind of battles. Dele out of St. Louis, Texas that's still Texas football with Tom Herman coming in. It's the Devin O'Rourke and, Greg Newsome losing those. Quincy Patterson, who they had a great relationship with, losing him to Virginia Tech. So now what would make this a successful class? Because I always thought that they were going to recruit more like Iowa, more like Wisconsin, recruit to your style, your scheme, and maybe get a couple 4-stars early on and then win some games. Is that kind of the path, or what do you think would make a successful class this year?
Well, I think they're going to have to adjust a little bit because, this season nothing's really promised either because they're still fighting with a bit of a short deck. We talked months ago about how bare the cupboard was left when Lovie Smith took over this program, and there's going to be a lot of guys that play big roles that aren't even on campus yet, or they're getting to campus this weekend. So keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of young guys playing this year, so the fruit of them playing is probably not going to be fully realized until maybe 2 years down the road when they're redshirt sophomores or juniors that have a lot of that experience and have had time in this coaching program. So, when you're talking about those relationships, too, like a guy like Daly or a guy like Luke Ford, they said they had great relationships with the staff. But I think to overcome a program like an Arkansas or an Alabama or a Texas or a Notre Dame or something like that, that relationship's really got to be extraordinary. And one guy who they might be able to pluck based on relationship alone is Vertus Brown. But other than that, I think they're going to have to start showing stuff on the field. They're going to have to start showing progress. To really be able to appeal to these guys on more than just a relationship level.
Talking Illini football recruiting with Ryan Easterling from IlliniInquirer.com. Well, it's summer. It's camp season. What all does this entail now for Lovie Smith and the staff, and how can that help with regards to recruiting?
Well, they've done a lot of evaluation on film, but I think the biggest thing that's held up this staff, at least so far, has been the fact that Lovie Smith has been contained to stay in Champaign.
Right.
You've got some good assistants that can get out on the road and really hound dog it in recruiting, but you really want your ace out there, and that's Lovie Smith. He's the guy with the name. He's the guy with the reputation. He's the guy with all that NFL experience that you brag about, and you want to get him in front of these players. And from all the guys we've talked to in the past that have met Lovie on the recruiting trail, they just rave about the relationship. They're almost kind of awestruck by Lovie Smith, and now you have the opportunity to get him in front of a lot of these players at these camps. They get to work with him one-on-one. Obviously, the satellite camp rules have tweaked a little bit, so it's not an Illinois camp per se out on the road, but he gets an opportunity to work with some of these guys one-on-one, and I think that he is probably at his best in a one-on-one situation. He's a very personable, relatable guy. He's very, very connecting with a lot of these guys that are some of these top defensive targets that they're looking after. So this gives him an opportunity that he hasn't had this spring up to this point to start really building those relationships in person and connecting with some of their top targets.
Ryan Easterling, will go to him as recruiting heats up. We always love the information, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Good stuff. Ryan Easterling talking about Illinois and Lovie Smith. 3 recruits so far. Should I be panicked?
No, I think concern is fair.
Okay.
Well, a lot of people think I'm trying to defend them. I have different expectations. Lovie Smith has been an improvement over Tim Beckman on the recruiting trail. I think this class will still be solid.
Okay.
I'm expecting solid. I didn't expect, like you and Carp, when he came here, that 4 and 5 stars were automatically going to fill up these recruiting classes.
They better start happening. They better start happening. No, I don't know if I expected 4 or 5. And I don't even know. I think last year's class is kind of what I expected. Yeah, and it was good.
Yeah,
I expect
this
him
class,
to always have good
This class isn't quite there. They got more time, but there's not as many top prospects left on their board.
All right, next hour. Next question. Can't wait. It's Tay and J Show. John Gross, hello.
Home is where the art is. It's where every day begins and ends. It's a place for big occasions and small. Home is where stories unfold and where they are told. We may leave, but we always come home again. First Financial Bank can help you achieve the home of your dreams. Talk with one of our friendly loan officers and we'll help you find the loan that's right for you. Consider it our way of saying welcome home. From First Financial Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with its signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. How about a taste as big as Texas for lunch, dinner, your next get-together, or to watch the big game? You're guaranteed to be the fan favorite. HickoryRiver.com or on North Cunningham in Urbana.
Eat, shop, play, and explore. Rediscover Campus Town every Thursday now through August 17th during 13 Thursdays. Summer's finally here and we're loving the specials in Campus Town. You can find great deals on clothing, accessories, and food each Thursday during 13 Thursdays at participating businesses. Save big this summer when you shop and eat your way through Campus Town. And enjoy 1 hour free parking at the campus parking deck located on 6th and Healy each and every Thursday. Visit ChampagneCenter.com. 13 Thursdays is presented by the Champagne Center Partnership.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
James Comey asking questions before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Fox's Melanie Wilkes has more live.
One of the most dramatic statements from former FBI Director James Comey in his Senate testimony was that he began documenting conversations with the president from the first time they met, before the inauguration.
The nature of the person. I was honestly concerned that he might lie about the nature of our meeting, and so I thought it really important to document.
Comey also testified that the president had asked him to pledge his loyalty and suggested that he drop any investigation of former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn. Kathleen?
And Melanie, President Trump's lawyer says Comey's testimony proves publicly what he told the president privately.
That the president was not under investigation as part of any probe into Russian interference.
Attorney Mark Kasowitz also chastised Comey for leaking information about private conversations with the president to the news media. Voting is over in Britain, and exit polls aren't looking good for the ruling Conservative Party. Fox's Simon Owen is live in London.
The
Kathleen, British Prime Minister Theresa May called this general election early, hoping to boost her mandate. But an exit poll here predicting her Conservative Party is on course to lose its majority in Parliament. No party predicted to win automatic control. One of May's top ministers, James Brokenshire, putting a brave face on things.
It's too early in the night to be drawing conclusions. And so I think that we'll just wait to see what the first results start. So it's actually getting some hard data.
Results will emerge overnight. Kathleen?
Thanks, Simon. At least one person reported dead, nearly 24 injured after a church bus rolled over on a car in Atlanta. It was carrying members of a high school youth group. Fox News, fair and balanced.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Summer involves a lot of driving to camp, to work, to soccer, back home to grab what they forgot, and then back to soccer again. So wouldn't you like to know your car is up for it? Enter Hum by Verizon. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics, drive with more peace of mind thanks to 24/7 emergency assistance, and let the kids stream and game on the go with your car's own Wi-Fi hotspot. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com. Verizon Wi-Fi available on Hum X only. Data usage applies. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit VZW.com for availability.
Prosecutors in Bill Cosby's sex assault trial have introduced an interview he gave to police.
In the 2005 interview, Cosby said he did give 1.5 Benadryl tablets to Andrea Constand, which he says she did not refuse, but he says he never intended to have sex with her. Cosby faces a charge of aggravated indecent assault for an encounter with Constand at his suburban Philadelphia home. It was after that police interview that the Montgomery County DA at the time declined to charge Cosby. Cheltenham Police Sergeant Richard Schaefer testified today that the decision came after the direction of the investigation was discussed. The jury also heard from Constand's former neighbor, who said she became distant after the alleged assault. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
An assault case against a congressman ends in an agreement.
One day before the Montana special election to fill the state's vacant House seat, Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs had some questions for the Republican candidate Greg Gianforte. Gianforte did not want to answer them.
I'm sick and tired of you guys. The last time you came in here, you did the same thing. Get the hell out of here.
Jacobs said he was body slammed. A Fox News crew witnessed it and backed him up. Gianforte went on to win the election. Now he's apparently reached a deal with prosecutors and will plead no contest to misdemeanor assault at a hearing this Monday. Separately, Gianforte reached a civil settlement with Jacobs. He's written an apology letter and said he'd donate $50,000 to the Committee to Protect Journalists. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The House has approved a bill that would eliminate some provisions of the 2010 Dodd-Frank Wall Street reform law, which critics say are too burdensome. The Senate is not expected to go along, but the law, enacted after the financial crisis, could be revamped and some regulations eliminated. Stocks closed higher, the Dow adding 8 points, S&P gaining a fraction, NASDAQ up 24 points, hitting another record high. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
We might get a game worn.
This is big.
Is it game used? Like, was it actually used in the game?
Wait,
like,
Harry, hold on.
Did you play in the game, Harry?
Did you play in the game with this jersey? Yes or no? Just head nod or no? Maybe.
Okay. We might add that to the Tay and J studio.
Why are we just thinking about this?
That'd be awesome.
I think so, too. And then you're going to bring in an old high school football jersey.
No, I'm not.
And I'm going to bring in a fast-pitch softball jersey.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. They'll keep you cool all summer. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com.
20 seconds.
Tonight, clear, a low of 62. Tomorrow, hot, high of 87. And sunny, a low of 65. Saturday, even hotter, high 90, low of 68. That's a string of about a week of 90s.
I've got a pool that I can utilize Saturday.
Can you dump it on my yard? Right now, sunny, clear, 85 in Champaign-Urbana.
Oh, it's time for drive.
I don't know if chlorine's good for that.
No.
been a while since we've done this.
No doubt.
Rethinking about the lines.
This music's actually getting me going.
Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW Champaign. No, I got it.
You got it.
For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampagne.com. Lante, this will recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show. Like riding a bike.
Well, Jeremy Werner?
Lante?
I don't even want to talk about the Cardinals, so can we move on to whatever we talked about next?
No, because we brought up the Cardinals and that it's not about this year anymore.
It's not. It's not.
They can still compete.
Yep.
They can still compete.
Yeah.
But the Cubs are within grasp. That's what's weird about this entire thing. But I do think the Cardinals, and I don't think there's anything new for them, but I think as Cardinals fans, you got to think about this as, okay, this isn't the year.
No.
Most likely. Unless they have a huge turnaround here.
Yep.
And next year might not even be the year. I think you're building for 2019. And that's what makes it interesting when you have, what move do you make? Do you fire the manager? You could do that now. I don't know if it helps.
Right.
Because you're not going to hire, somebody off, Ron Gardenhire. Are you going to hire him right now?
No, I think Matheny's there.
I think Matheny's here through at least the rest of the year. But I do think you make some roster changes. They've made some of those already.
Sure.
But a guy like Lance Lynn.
Yep, that was the key.
Who's one of the only free agents after this year. You lose Peralta, and that's good because it clears up money.
That's good news.
But Lance Lynn is a free agent, and he has value.
Yes, he does.
I'm looking for a long-term piece. I'd be dealing him now saying, hey, he's on the market. Who would like him? I think a team like Houston, who's got some young prospects and some young guys who just can't get into the major league system because they're loaded, and A.J. Reed, who's a first baseman, former top 100 prospect, has power, gets on base. I think that'd be an interesting trade, something like that where you can add a long-term piece because I don't think this team's going to compete for a World Series in the next year or two.
Nope.
Alex Reyes isn't going to be a full, healthy season until 2019. You're still going to have Carlos Martinez. Yachty's going to be really old.
You're right.
But you're hoping Carson Kelly breaks through.
By then.
And you have depth that is young, but just a year or two away down in the farm system.
I think something's got to be done. The other guy we talked about a little bit would be O as a closer or Rosenthal as a closer. Those guys may pique the interest of a team that would be willing to give a young prospect for those guys. But I don't think it's that we're saying the Cardinals will be sellers. It's that they're retooling and being smart. They're making smart decisions. But I think something needs to be done. A move needs to be done, whether that's, even though pitching really hasn't been your issue, I think it's a move like Clabe said to move Waka maybe to the bullpen, bring up Luke Weaver. Something's got to be done to shake this up because you just lost a road trip. You just went 0 for a road trip.
4 games to the Reds. I know they've been more competitive, but come on.
That's really, really bad.
And they're games you've been giving away.
Yeah. And a lot of these games you had leads in. Yeah. I think 6 of the 7, maybe? No, I'm speaking probably out my mind.
I agree with you. I think walking to the bullpen, Weaver coming up, I think that's a good move.
That's true.
I don't know what the lineup move is, but Carpenter leading off is obviously sparked something with him, even though he hates that narrative.
Isn't it funny?
It's just, it sparked something, so I like that. Maybe it'll spark Fowler a little bit.
Somebody texted in real quick, no way Astros deal with the Cardinals after that hacking ordeal.
That's probably true.
I had not thought of that.
But, it makes sense.
The Cardinals will know who to go after.
That's true. We also talked about the Cavs blowing that Game 3 lead late in the game, but there's a 4-point difference with about a minute and a half remaining, and all I could think of is, That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time.
Yep.
And, it was. The Cavaliers didn't score with the last 3 minutes of that game.
No.
The Warriors scored 11 points over the last couple minutes. That team's just ridiculously dangerous. And the Cavs had a great game.
Yes, they did.
Great game.
And still lost.
And they still lost.
Well, let's be honest. Look, Cleveland was not going to win, is not going to win this series, no matter what happened last night in that game. But for us, the fan, come on, man. We want some solid basketball, and this now looks like it's going to be a sweep. And then the storyline will be, how good is this Golden State team historically? You just swept through the playoffs. You didn't lose a game. And I really feel like this next game for Cleveland, Game 4, I just think after putting everything you had into Game 3, I just don't know how, honestly, I don't know how you bounce back with Game 4 and go out there and try to win a game. I think Golden State, they smell the proverbial blood. I think Kevin Durant's having a blast. I think Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and some of these guys are mad that last year Cleveland took that away from them after they were up 3-1. I just think Golden State's on a mission here. Then the one thing we talked about is how big of a mission is this? Is this the next 3 years? Yeah. And what does it do to basketball if Golden State is they do 17 times this year?
I still think you got two teams that can compete.
Yes.
And that's Cleveland, who I think is had a bad first 2 games. But they showed last night they can compete with the Warriors.
I agree.
The Spurs, I think if they add a guy like Chris Paul, I think they can compete if they're healthy. Kawhi wasn't healthy this year.
No.
So I think those are two teams that can compete with them. But Golden State will definitely be heavy favorites going into the next couple of years.
Without a doubt.
They're playing some of the best basketball I've ever seen. I watched the Bulls growing up.
Right.
This team, their offense and their defense is so good. Offensively, I don't know how you stop them.
I don't either.
And then defensively, they don't get enough credit for what they do on that end. So this is just one of the best teams, single seasons I've ever seen from a team, and they're going to be probably the first one to sweep because I don't think Cleveland's going to have much in the tank.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
We also talked a lot about Greg Eboig Bowden. We had his high school coach, Patrick Donnelly, from University of Detroit Jesuit on. We also talked with Chin Coleman, a Illini basketball assistant, in the 3 o'clock hour, and they both raved about his work ethic.
His work ethic and his character. Yeah. And the work ethic is something that you should be excited about as an Illini fan because you need a guy like that. You need a guy that can come in and spill minutes and, let Michael Finke sit for a stretch, let LaRon Black sit for a stretch, and just get some quality minutes in there. Nothing shiny, nothing fantastic. And I don't think Brad Underwood and these guys are going to look for him on the other end to score a lot. And his high school coach said, hey, if there's one thing he needs to work on, it's his offensive game. But if he can bring energy, run the court, and rebound and play defense, which is what they both said, that's where you and I said, yep, that's exactly what. Know your role, right? Yep. And hopefully Greg Eboig Bowden, Spicy G, as he was called, as his nickname is, then I think he'll play that role well, and I think that's going to help Illinois underneath.
Yeah, his high school coach said Illinois probably got a diamond in the rough.
That's cool.
No, that's his high school coach.
Yeah.
But he's seen a lot of kids come through. Cassius Winston went there. Right. He's got a kid going to Marquette as well. So he knows what a high major player is, and he said this kid is a high major player that's a really good rebounder, just started playing basketball, 4 years ago.
Right. That's the thing that excites me.
And he said that soccer skill is really translated. He's, Chin Coleman said he's going to be the fastest player in Illinois at 6'9", 220-something pounds.
When he said that, I was like, really?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Interesting.
I'd
still give it to Tijon.
Who would you put your money on? I'd probably put it on Trent Frazier. Looks like a fast guy.
He does. He looks fast. Mark Smith doesn't look especially fast.
I'm sure he's fast, though, because he's powerful.
Michael Finke. Watch out for Finke this year. I kid.
Kipper? Kipper be
maybe.
Fast?
I'm still going Tijon. I think baseline to baseline, I think he gets there. Or out
Trent
of bounds.
Looks
line,
like a sprinter guy.
You're right, though. Trent.
Some sprinters are kind of bulky, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like Mark?
I say the coaching for our sake, for the radio's sake.
40-yard dash. Go over into the stadium, football stadium.
And then report to us and let us know how it goes. But listen, I think this guy is going to help this team.
He's a role player, right?
Not in a lot, not in a huge impact, but if you can provide 5 to 10 minutes, that's going to be a huge help to
And we
team.
talked about how he's kind of shows us what they're looking for in a big man.
Yes.
And 2018 offers have shown a lot of these kids are from Africa, played soccer. They're looking for quick, long, athletic, defend the rim, rebound, right? That's what they're looking for. And in this modern basketball scheme that they have, where it's 4 out, 1 in, you need a guy to cover a lot of territory quickly. You need a guy that's able to own the rebounds.
And you need a guy this year to block a Wake Forest shot.
That's right.
Because Illinois learned they will play Wake Forest in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. You and I talked a little bit about the scheduling. DePaul, which was an exciting game. You got Wake Forest, who's a good team. You've got Missouri.
Wake Forest is probably the best team on their schedule. They finished top 40 KenPom. They were an NCAA tournament team last year. Lose John Collins, who's going to be a first-round pick. He averaged 19 and 10 last year. But this is a good team returning. It's a veteran team returning. And you're going there on the road. That's a big opportunity for Illinois.
It will be.
but it's a winnable game.
Sure.
So I think that's the best of both worlds for a young team that will get challenged. And then you have some other games like, DePaul here. You should win that game.
I agree.
Missouri, that's an even opponent on, an NCAA tournament kind of scale.
UNLV on the road.
Yeah.
And you said best opponent, non-conference opponent.
Yes.
We understand Michigan State's going to be really good. Real quick, 30 seconds. I don't know if you can do it. Updated Scout 100. They updated the players. What do we got?
Io DeSumo goes from about 24 to 29, loses his fifth star. Tim Finke up to 83 from about 96.
Okay.
Some of those guys in state. George Condit, a 3-star prospect.
Nice. All right.
That's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
Well done. Hey, explore issues that matter most to you, your family, and your financial future with The Pillar. It's the new issue of Busey's comprehensive publication, and it is available now. You can turn the pages of The Pillar for a variety of resources and advice from Busey's experts. From HGTV's Fixer Upper and PBS's Ask This Old House. I was going to ask if Tiff loves those. Home improvement is made easy. Busey breaks down the real rewards and real costs of a fixer-upper. You can also read about 9 leaders in our community and the sacrifice, hard work, and strength it took to leave a lasting legacy. Busey is proud to be a community-minded organization dedicated to your financial needs, from personal finance and investments to business and agriculture trends. They can help you with all of it. Visit Busey.com to read The Pillar. To sign up to receive your copy or request more information, visit the publications page in the Resource Center. It is the Tay and J Show.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
Have you seen enough to know they may be the best team ever assembled? I have. Already so good, they've contributed the most to a horribly brutal, ugly, tough-to-watch NBA playoffs. The Golden State Warriors went the extra mile last night to show where they stand among the all-time greats. Now, when I say all-time greats, my all-time goes back to about the mid-'80s, when I really remember watching the NBA. I can't tell you much about the Bill Russell Celtics or the Lou Alcindor Bucks or even Bill Walton's Blazers. But these Warriors showed us something last night we hadn't seen in these playoffs. The ability to come from behind, stay composed when under the biggest pressure of needing buckets and stops on the road. Trailing most of the second half, deep into the fourth quarter, Golden State hit big shot after big shot. Kevin Durant not afraid of the big moment with enormous baskets, and they got stops too. They can defend, and they did last night. They beat the team led by the best player in the world on their home floor, playing from behind in the fourth quarter. What more do we need? In 60 seconds, this Sooners take on Bob Stoops' retirement.
Greta is a drill instructor.
Move, move, move! Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to training lean, mean, fighting machines, she doesn't mess around.
Drop and give me 3,000.
But when it comes to getting a mortgage, Greta's less confident.
I got nothing.
Fortunately for Greta, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so she can understand the details and know she's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Gentlemen, hurry into JCPenney and find great looks for whether you're in the office or on the go. Raise your game with menswear designed by Michael Strahan. Exclusively at JCPenney. Get 50% off suit separates and dress shirts from Collection by Michael Strahan. And up to 40% off MSX Activewear. Also available in big and tall. Don't miss out on even more savings with a coupon for $10 off when you spend $25 or more on select items. That's getting your penny's worth. JCPenney.
Coupon valid 6/7 to 6/13. Some exclusions and restrictions apply. See store at jcp.com for details.
I know I didn't see it coming. In fact, yesterday afternoon, I get a text from my wife who doesn't follow sports at all, and the text says, Stoops is retiring? What? Yep. He says it's just the right time. Nothing more than that. He'll stay on with the University of Oklahoma, continue to live in Norman. Now, I've gotten to know Bob Stoops a little over the years, covering him locally in the state of Oklahoma and nationally with ESPN. The best part about him is that football is not his life. It never has been. His family is. Unlike maybe the majority of big-time coaches, he can live without football, and he's choosing to. But not before leaving the program in Lincoln Riley's capable hands. He took care of OU, too, by doing that. I wouldn't be stunned if he coached again, most likely in the NFL, but know this. Bob Stoops will be just fine if he never puts on another coaching headset. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari Noble.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Mike Cervantes, a K-9 officer with his dog Hunter. How does one become a K-9 officer?
Well, I was fortunate enough when Sergeant Lushin had the dog. I was in the street crimes unit with him. So as Hunter started his drug career, per se, that's when I started also. For Hunter specifically, he's a narcotics detection and human detection dog. So if somebody, say a little kid walks away from a place, or an older person walks away from a nursing home or something like that, he's able to track them down. He's also able to do article recoveries. So if somebody's running from us and they toss a gun, somebody loses their keys, which we've helped do that before, he can go in an area and I can give him the command to search for that human odor, and he can find that. And he's also able to detect odors of illegal narcotic.
Brought to you by F.E. Moran Security Solutions. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
.522, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update. Illinois will play at Wake Forest as part of the 2017 ACC Big Ten Challenge. Illinois 1-1 all-time against the Demon Deacons. The Illini have never played at Winston-Salem. Of course, the last one between Illinois and Wake Forest was a memorable one, as number 3 Illinois defeated number 1 Wake Forest 91-73 in Champaign during the 04-05 season. Illinois claimed the number 1 ranking in the country after the win and held it until a national championship loss to North Carolina.
Cheaters.
Foul on Augie.
Cheaters.
Creighton coach Greg McDermott offered the Ohio State job, and he said no.
No.
Creighton coach going to stay in Nebraska. That's Omaha, right?
Yes.
Omaha?
Just read a tweet from him. I'm blessed and honored to be the coach of Creighton, and I'm looking forward to many more great years in Omaha. # Roll Jays.
Xavier coach Chris Mack also said he's going to stay where he is. That's his alma mater, so Ohio State moves their search along. The Cardinals lost their 7th straight. They went over on a 7-game road streak. 5-2 loss today. The one bright side was Matt Carpenter hit a home run for the 2nd straight day. He was batting leadoff.
Did that help
for the
your
2nd
fantasy
straight
team?
day. Yes, it did.
Okay.
Addison, he's been bad lately.
Yes.
Addison Russell not in the lineup tonight for the Chicago Cubs. There have been allegations of domestic abuse for him that MLB is investigating. He says those claims are false. His wife had put out an Instagram post that she has no more lying and cheating in her life. It seems like they are separated. So Addison Russell not in the lineup tonight, but he says those claims are false.
Okay. Foul. James Augustine. Well, if you head down to Houlihan's in the I Hotel tonight, you will not hear Muse. However, you will hear Nickel and Dimes Band for this area.
Okay, that's good.
That is a really solid. Join Houlihan's for live local music every Thursday evening this summer. It's called Patio Play, and it's located on the beautiful, secluded outdoor patio. Features new live performances each week and a $4.95 martini drink special. Rain or shine, the show will go on. They'll just simply bring it inside. Come out and support the local artists, and they're doing that tonight. Again, Nickel and Dimes Band. That is at Houlihan's, the I Hotel.
It's the Tay and J Show. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. If you missed Chin Coleman and Patrick Donnelly talking about Greg Eboig Bowden, or Spicy G, as he likes to be called,
love that.
We will replay a couple of their clips about the newest Illini signee.
Okay.
But I want to talk a little baseball today.
I agree
and
with
get
you.
caught up a little bit on probably our favorite game. I think baseball is in such a great spot.
Yes, you said that yesterday. I'm 100% with you.
I think it's in such a great spot. spot. I know a lot of the national media doesn't pay attention unless there's some milestone, there's some fight, or something like that. But there's a lot of great stuff. I think they got a great product. There's so many intriguing teams right now, especially, as you said, Don, in the major markets. I mean, the top 4 major markets, whether it's the Yankees being good again, the Mets being terrible,
which is the story,
right? That's good for them. The Chicago Cubs being as good as they are, Houston being as good as they are, the Dodgers, and even the Angels having Pujols hitting 600 home runs.
Exactly,
that's a great spot for those franchises.
It's neat, and you've got a lot of young stars, and we'll talk about a few of those as we go along because. What we're waiting on real quick, and I'm waiting for Harry to give me the thumbs up. All you have to do is give me a thumbs up. That's all you have to do is give a...
Next question.
All right, John Gross is now on the line and ready. It is time for next question.
You could have it's radio. You could have just faked that he was doing it.
I know, but I wanted to see Harry and see how he did in the moment.
All right, Lon, are this year's Astros better than last year's Cubs?
Oh. Okay, I'm going to go full disclosure. I've not seen much of this year's Astros, and I saw a ton of last year's Cubs.
The Astros are what now? 42, and they were 19 going into yesterday.
Wow.
42 and 18.
Wonder what the Cubs were at this
they
point
have a
last year.
700 winning percentage. They are 12 games up on the Seattle Mariners in the AL West. I think Fangraphs has them as like a 99% likelihood to make the playoffs.
Okay. I'm going to say no just to appease all of our Cubs listeners, and that's really the only
That's not what you do.
No. Now, Dallas Keuchel's heading to the DL.
For the second time.
So that scares me going forward. I think I like the idea of a Lester Arrieta at the start of that rotation with regards to come postseason play a little bit better than I like Houston. So at this point, I'm going to go Cubbies. What are you doing?
I think the Cubs... Obviously, they won the World Series.
And I mean last year's Arrieta.
Right.
And
obviously,
Lester.
Last year they won the World Series.
Right.
The Cubs had to make a big move, though.
They did. That's a good
get
call.
themselves
That's
there.
a great call.
I think the Astros are in a similar position of where the Cubs were last year. I think they have to make one more move, though, and that's for a starting pitcher. If they add another starting pitcher, I think they are just as scary as the Cubs were last year.
Okay, and if you're a Cubs fan out there and you've got dreams of winning 3-4 World Series here, you need to start paying attention to teams like the Houston Astros because that's going to be the team you may have to beat to get that World Series
the
title.
Dodgers still in the AL or in the NL West. I mean, the Nationals. There's some really strong teams top to bottom. I mean, you look at this Astros lineup. What's the weak spot? Bregman, Correa, Altuve, Gurriel, Reddick, Springer's a star.
Yes, he is.
Carlos Beltran, I know he's old. Brian McCann and Evan Gattis. Right? I mean,
unreal.
They lead the league in home runs. They're one of the top in ERA. They're ridiculous.
That little Altuve, too. He's the second baseman, and I like that. I was talking to somebody today, real quick, off topic, about Carlos Beltran. And the reason the Cardinals got rid of Carlos Beltran is because of Oscar Taveras. Yeah. They assumed they had the right fielder in the future. So not only when we talked about that the other day, not only did the death of Oscar Taveras affect this Cardinal organization, they also got rid of a guy like Beltran who, isn't...
He's old now.
He's
not
but
what he was.
He's had some good years the last couple of years.
Better in the outfield than what some of the guys are now.
And better in the middle of that lineup than probably what the Cardinals have had.
Next question.
All right. Jeremy, will all the wild cards come from two divisions this year? And I'm talking AL East and NL West.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. You're not sold on the Brewers or the Cardinals?
No, because, I mean...
Nobody in the NL East is doing anything.
The Central Minnesota's having a nice start. Didn't they have this last year, too?
Yes.
I think Cleveland will end up making that division. I don't think there's another 85-win team in there.
Mm-mm.
And then the NL West, Seattle's kind of hanging on to 500. The Angels are hovering around there. I don't think there's an 88-win team there. But then you look at the East, Yankees, Boston, Baltimore, Tampa, and Toronto. I think all those teams can make the playoffs.
Right.
I think every one of those teams has a chance. And then the National League, the Mets are tied for second at 25-32 in the East in a terrible division.
The NL East is Washington and nothing.
Are you buying Milwaukee hanging on? And the Cardinals are worse than we thought.
Yes.
Cincinnati's better, but Pittsburgh's worse than we thought. And then the NL, the Arizona Diamondbacks and LA Dodgers and Colorado Rockies all 11 games over 500.
Isn't that crazy?
So I'm buying that. I think all these teams will pretty much hang on. In the East, I mean, it's so close in the AL, but I think three of those teams will pull out in the playoffs.
So if you're the Cardinals, you're gunning for who right now? Diamondbacks and Colorado,
You need one of those teams to fall back down to you.
That's interesting. Well, we'll tackle that
next. That's a long way away. The Cardinals are 8.5 back in the wild card.
Wow.
You're closer to Milwaukee.
Holy smoke.
Next question.
Lon, which team 10 games over 500 or more is most likely to miss the playoffs? The Yankees, the Astros, the Nationals, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, or Dodgers?
Well, it comes down to two teams for me. I think I'm a believer in the Yankees.
I'm picking the Yankees because I think their division is so good that they could end up finding a way out of the playoffs.
Okay, I am going to go. It's got to be between Colorado and Arizona. I want to say Colorado because Coors Field, that's just a different dynamic there, and I've seen teams fade fast there. But I'm going to go Diamondbacks. I don't think they're quite ready to make it to the playoffs. I am a believer in the Yankees. I think this team
they're good.
Has the mojo to do it.
I just think their defense and Tanaka has been so bad.
I agree
and
with that.
And they're a bunch of young pitching that I think it'll come back down to earth a little bit. And I think Judge is due for a little regression here. I think he's a good player, but
he's been on fire. Yeah.
Next question.
All right, Jeremy, which team contending for 500 should pull the trigger on fire sale first? Giants or Rangers?
Giants.
Okay.
I mean, they always do this, right? I mean, they always have a terrible, terrible year.
Yes.
But they have some nice pieces. Cueto, Samardzija. I think you can rebuild a little bit there. You know, Cueto especially, if he's going to opt out of his contract, I think you should start thinking about trading some of those pieces. That lineup just doesn't have much. Hunter Pence is old. They're an older team.
They are.
Without a lot of pop in the lineup.
They got what they needed, though, didn't they?
It's a little bit like the Cardinals, but their system isn't as strong as the Cardinals, so they could probably use a little beefing up there.
It is funny how you look at that. You look at the Cardinals and the Giants and the run that those teams had each year when they were basically World Series. It was either one of the two. And now you look at them and both of them are kind of licking their wounds right now. But I certainly wouldn't give back anything that the Cardinals were able to accomplish. And if you're the Giants, you don't give back that either.
Next question.
Lon, which pitcher should the Cubs pursue?
You just said his name. I am all in on Johnny Cueto. All in. And I think there was one game last year that made me realize that he is going to be a Chicago Cub this year. And that's when he dominated them. Was that at Wrigley, I think? That was at Wrigley when he struck out like 10. Mm-hmm. I think he lost the game like 1-0. Somebody hit a home run. Almora or somebody hit the home run. I know Cub fans will remember that one. Johnny Cueto, I think he really became a big Theo Epstein fell in love with that guy, and I think Cueto's the kind of guy that if you put in that order with Lester then Cueto, now you've got a legitimate shot at getting to the World Series.
That would be he's likely to opt out, right?
Yes.
And I think the Giants only trade him if he opts out because they're going to compete again next year.
Right.
You want a long-term guy in the middle of that rotation, right?
Yeah.
You have a guy you're familiar with that's been pretty good in his career.
Ryan Dempster.
That has a decent contract, especially now compared to some of the contracts given to starting pitchers.
Rick Sutcliffe.
He's got 3 years left after this year.
Greg Maddux.
For 3.5 years. But Jeff Samardzija.
Ooh, I don't like him.
You're not giving up a lot for Jeff Samardzija.
No, you're not. You're right. Doesn't he have a big ERA?
Yeah, but I mean, he's striking out like 10 guys per 9. The ERA's come way down recently. He's on a ridiculous run where he's got like 68 strikeouts to 1 walk over his last month and a half.
Right. So you're thinking Samardzija. Right.
You don't got to pay a huge price for it.
I like it. So you're not going, and I know exactly where you're going here with regards to.
I want somebody with multiple years.
Long.
Because you're going to lose your entire rotation next year.
You
basically.
are. But
except for Lester.
If I'm the Cubs and I know I could get Johnny Cueto and you pair him with Johnny Lester and you can maybe win another World Series.
You're giving up more for him. So you're going all in on this year.
I'm going all in on this year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's essentially right. Your plan seems to make the most sense.
Because it helps you this year and helps you in the long term.
Yes.
And I don't think you're paying his
I just don't know
price.
that Samardzija, does he really nail down a spot like in the postseason? All of a sudden you got Lester, now hey, we got Samardzija going tomorrow.
Samardzija your 3rd or 4th starter?
Yeah. That's what scares me. Do you have a 2-starter?
I mean, you're counting on Arrieta.
Right.
Or Hendricks.
Which is what scares me a little bit. So that's kind of my thinking is that right now I'd be frightened with my number 2 starter. That's why I'd want to go get somebody like Cueto to get it
And
done.
I'm thinking Samardzija's my 2 or 3 for the next 3 years, too.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Next question.
All right. Which pitcher should the Astros pursue? Now that we're talking about our 2 World Series teams here.
I put it out there, Lance Lynn, man.
Yeah, you did. That's perfect.
Lance Lynn for A.J. Reed and a young pitching prospect.
Boom.
How about it?
I think that'd be perfect for the Astros, especially now. And this could happen soon.
They got some young pitchers who they really like. Francis Martez, who's a top 30 prospect, just got called up to go to their bullpen. He's probably going to start next year.
Yes.
So they could use a just, rental guy.
They could.
And they have a huge depth at first base. A.J. Reed's got value.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they probably won't deal after everything they've been together.
I know.
But I think it makes a lot of sense because they need a veteran who can eat innings and give you a solid performance every night. And Lance Lynn's usually that kind of guy.
If the Cardinals can sign Lynn to a nice, solid 5-year contract, though, they got to do it, don't they?
5-year what? I mean, it depends on how they feel about Luke Weaver.
Probably 5 years. What would you have to give Lance Lynn? What did Leak do? $580?
I'm saying you're probably giving him, at least $470?
Yeah. Which is probably solid for Lance Lynn.
I mean, it depends on what you think of the rest of your system.
Man, I just don't want to get rid of him. But you're right. No, I think that's probably true. If you can nab a first baseman of the future, I think you
you could sign him.
Yeah,
still.
That's true.
You could trade him and sign him.
That's true. Good call.
Next question.
All right, Lon, who would you rather have the next 5 years? I'm struggling over this. Chris Bryant or Carlos Correa?
Wow, at least you ask easy questions.
Chris Bryant had an MVP year last year.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Plays
not having
spot.
as great of a year, but he's obviously one of the best hitters in all of baseball. Carlos Correa, though, reeks of A-Rod.
And he's a shortstop.
He's a shortstop, plays really good defense.
And he's younger. He's 22, right?
Yeah, he's 22.
25?
Bryant's 25. I think I'm going Bryant because he's a good defender as well. Bryant wasn't a good defender and versatile. I might go Correa.
Okay, you know what? Then I'm going to go Correa.
I'm going to go Chris Bryant, but I think these are both MVPs.
You're right. I think either one of us is going to win this. I'm going Correa because I want my up the middle to be strong.
They're both good-looking dudes, too, right? It's not like one of these is an Uggo.
Bryant, though, is getting married, right?
He did get married.
Oh, he got married, so he's going to get all fat now because his wife's going to be a great cook. Yeah. Rizzo's going to get even fatter eating a bunch of Italian stuff.
Would you get married if you were Rizzo or Bryant?
No. Absolutely not.
They're nice kids, though.
Oh, they are great kids. Hold on, I have to reboot. F-ball.
Next question.
Wow, that was weird.
Yeah. Who would you rather have?
John Gross is in the bathroom.
He's in a
where you at, Gross?
Submarine.
Oh, there we go.
Who would you rather have the next 5 years? Chris Sale or Max Scherzer?
Ugh. I want Sale. I want
the
Sale.
Lefty.
I do. I love the lefty. And if his arm hasn't just absolutely projectiled to the front row by now, it's going to be fine. I want Chris Sale. He has not shown one issue of injuries. Has he?
No. Oh, he's had a couple. I mean, he's usually missed like 5 games a year, but it's been nothing huge.
And if you need art done in the clubhouse, he can
fashion designing.
He can run daycare with his cutting. No, I'm going Sale, and that does not mean I don't like Max Scherzer.
I love Chris Sale.
Yes.
He's got his WAR right now on Fangraphs is one higher than any other pitcher.
Wow.
But Scherzer's been...
He's good. You know me.
I think I'd go Scherzer. I think he's been the second best pitcher in baseball for 5 years running.
He's a big guy, too. He looks durable.
He's got those eyes that scare the heck out of people.
He does. Give me the lefty, though. I should have been born left-handed.
I can't believe I'm saying this. As
I know.
a Chris Sale guy, he's finally going to probably win his Cy Young this year.
I can't either.
I think I'm going Scherzer.
You know what it is? My right hand is still a little numb from this pinch nerve. My left isn't. I'm going Sale. I'm going with the lefty.
Next question.
All right, more unlikely to keep up this pace. Aaron Judge,
Big
18
guy.
home runs, 41 RBI, 428 on base. Or Miguel Sano of the Twins, 15 home runs, 46 RBI, 411 on base.
I don't know Sano as well.
He should be getting. If he played in New York, we'd be talking all about him.
That's the thing with me. I think Judge. I could see with that guy's body, he's going to break down at some point this year.
There's got to be a hole in that swing at some point, right?
He's such a huge
6'7".
human being. I'm going Judge.
I think they're both awesome.
Yeah, they are.
And they're both top prospects.
Yes.
Sano's been in the majors longer. He's gotten the corrections out. He's had some injuries.
Good call.
I think this season more likely to fall down as Judge, but they're both unbelievable power talents.
I agree with you. I think we both go Judge there.
See, there's a lot going on in baseball. I like baseball.
Good stuff.
Have you seen my baseball?
Have I seen yours? Your baseball standings?
No. Did you ever see something about Mary? Have you seen my baseball?
See, you and Carp.
That should be in your wheelhouse.
I know,
You're
but
a young adult.
I just don't.
Cameron Diaz and Ben Stiller.
And you know what's
That's
funny?
Cameron Diaz, the peak, man.
And you know I love movies. I love going to movies. I just don't remember things like you and Carp do.
Well, me and my friends spoke
What were
in
you
movie
and Carp
lines.
going off on the other day? and I finally tweeted out, I'm speaking for the Twitter world, that you're both geeks.
I was just trolling him about There Will Be Blood. It's a beautiful film.
Okay.
Right? It's got great cinematography and acting, but it's got no plot, and it's not entertaining.
Okay.
So he's going off about his artsy-fartsy movies, and I just like to troll him about that stuff.
You are a troller.
Because Carp gets...
He does.
Gets a little hoity-toity sometimes about film.
I know.
And his vocabulary.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Hey, coming up, we visited with Chin Coleman, Illini basketball assistant, and also Patrick Donnelly, the University of Detroit Jesuit high school coach. Who's that, you ask? He coached Greg E. Boyd Bowden, and Chin Coleman recruited Greg E. Boyd Bowden. You're going to hear from both when we come back. Some snippets from earlier. It is the Tay and J Show.
The official fan store of the Fighting Illini is moving. Game Day Spirit, currently located at 1422 South Neal Street, is moving to the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign this July. In the meantime, they're preparing for the lowest prices of the season to be available during their moving sale in June. Stay tuned for more information and follow them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram by searching Game Day Spirit. Stay in the know of all things Game Day and all things Fighting Illini with Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Your four-legged friends need protection too. Pet insurance from Pekin Insurance covers cats and dogs at least 6 weeks of age or older as an enhancement to your homeowner's coverage. Choose between $2,500 or $5,000 worth of coverage for a variety of pet health services. You can even take your pet to the veterinarian of your choice. Learn more at PekinInsurance.com or ask your local agent about how to protect your furry family members. For pet insurance that is beyond the expected, contact Pekin Insurance today.
Win a free trip to Disney. Stop by Travel by Beth offices in St. Joe and sign up to win. Or Jet's Pizza with 2 locations in Champaign. CarX on Neal University in Bradley. Suites at 3rd Leasing Office is located at Tower at 3rd. Country Financial Agent Jessie DeHaan with her Muhammad office. The Prospect Bank in Champaign, Homer or Gilman. Participating McDonald's restaurants or Champaign Park District, Douglas Community Center, Virginia Theater, or Leonard Rec Center. All locations with a registration box to win the free trip to Disney. From ESPN 93.5.
DP Dough is the original Calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original Calzone company.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
It's easy to put off saving for retirement, but it's just as easy to start. So where to begin? Start with Thrivent Financial. We will help you define your financial goals and take steps to help you reach them. It comes down to making wise decisions about your money, because even small steps add up fast. Contact Dean Hall or Bruce Paulsrud today at 217-819-4646. Licensed agent producers of Thrivent Financial. Marketing name for Thrivent Financial for Lutherans. Registered representatives of Thrivent Investment Management, Inc. Thrivent.com/disclosures.
American Cancer Society's Relay for Life is coming to downtown Champaign on Saturday, June 17th.
Head on down and enjoy music from Spring Duo, Tin Shed, Midnight Remedy, and the Zach Gable Experience. With the breast cancer rowing team, Prairie Dragon paddlers involved, as well as a drum circle to beat out cancer.
The American Cancer Society's Relay for Life, June 17th in downtown Champaign's West Side Park. Details on Facebook or head to relayforlife.org/Champaign.
So I'm chatting with Dan from Champaign Surplus. You're changing how you do business in a really groundbreaking way. You're taking Price Match to a whole new level. So tell me about that.
We've had Price Match in our store for a while now, and what we found is that a lot of people don't want to actually ask for the Price Match. And what we've done is we will just automatically check the internet for you. Our associates are walking around with devices where they can scan the internet, and we'll find the lowest price that we can for you, and that's what we'll sell it to you for.
Now, what if I find a lower price online?
We're happy to honor that as well.
So if you or I find a price that's lower than the manufacturer's price, I'm going to get that price, period. If there's a sale somewhere else, there's a sale for me at Champagne Surplus.
Absolutely. And you'll find that price, you'll get that price, and you'll be able to walk out with your item that day.
So how long does it take for us to find the best price for me?
No longer than a normal shopping trip.
I'm going to get the lowest price online. You're going to find it for me instantly.
Yes.
If I find something myself that's lower than what you find, you'll give it to me.
Yes.
And best of all, I'm supporting a small business that's been in our community for 70 years.
Yes.
So at Champagne Surplus, any sale is their sale. Check it out today in downtown Champaign.
Experience what makes Eastland Suites the best, like unique accommodations for guests who need extended stays, full kitchens, patio and balcony access, and grills in the courtyard for cookouts. Extended stay guests also love the free Wi-Fi, fitness center, and complimentary hot buffet breakfast. And Tanya, don't forget about the full-service lobby bar, large swimming pool, and the free shuttle, and the...
Experience the best. Experience Eastland Suites. Book online at eastlandsuitesurbana.com.
The Snyder Company.
Matthew 28:18-20 states, Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Jesus charges us to spread his message to all ends of the earth. How are you spreading his message? Support local and international ministries and get involved. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Floors.
This Mettler tip is brought to you by Mettler Center Physical Therapy.
Everyone over the age of 50 experiences some amount of bone weakness. However, you can maintain your bone strength by performing weight-bearing exercises such as tennis, golf, or hiking. These experiences you do on your feet so that your bones and muscles have to work against gravity. Like muscle, bone is living tissue that responds to exercise by becoming stronger. It is important to incorporate weight-bearing exercises to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
For more information, visit online at MettlerCenter.com.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. Had some great chats today with some guests, including Chin Coleman, Illini basketball assistant, and Patrick Donnelly, who was the high school basketball coach of new Illini recruit Greg Eboig Bowden.
Yeah, and Pat gave some great insight on Eboig Bowden, who he calls G.
G.
We'll tell you what Chin calls
right.
Greg here in a second. But we asked, what is Illinois getting in Greg Eboig Bowden?
I think a diamond in the rough. I've seen a lot of comments, people a little concerned about his ranking. I wouldn't be concerned. I mean, this kid came in 4 years ago as a soccer player, never played basketball. And in that short amount of time, he's become a relentless rebounder, averaged 14 rebounds a game for us this year, was All-State the last 2 years, has been an All-Catholic League performer the last 3 years, has a state championship under his belt. He's a tremendous competitor, a great defender, and a very solid athlete.
So, Coach, when you get a kid like this who's never played basketball before, what's the first step? Like, where do you start? Because most kids at least are familiar with the game or have played a little bit at some level. Like, how did you start with him?
It was all around the basket, and it really came down. He had great feet. Having played soccer his whole life, really athleticism in terms of moving laterally and those type of things and pivoting wasn't too difficult for him. He worked tremendously hard in the weight room, so he became a better athlete. When he first got here, he was about 6'7", couldn't dunk. Now he's got a 9-foot standing reach, and
wow.
and he'll surprise some people. He'll be rebounding, at his head at the rim. So he's a very solid athlete and a great kid, a hard worker, and a great listener. And he wants to be better. He's a sponge.
Yeah, we asked him, Pat Donnelly, the University of Detroit Jesuit high school coach, can he play right away? Will he be ready to play right away? And he said that he's going to rebound and play defense.
Yep.
He's going to struggle offensively to start, but he said he's made great strides there in the last couple of years. But he said he took his biggest leap after he signed with UIC.
Right.
That his junior to senior season, he was a much, much better player.
Well, and when you're just learning the game, can you imagine how the game has come to him and all of a sudden he's like, hey, I can do this now. And as you learn and you get more excited about your game, I think that's what's going to be impressive.
And he said diamond in the rough, and it's his high school coach. He's going to say some positive things, but Pat's coached some really good players. He's got a kid going to Marquette that's a post player, and he's coached Cassius Winston, who's going to be, I think, take a big step for Michigan State, be the point guard of one of the best teams in the country this year.
We also interviewed Chin Coleman, Illini basketball assistant. It was nice to get him on. First time he'd ever been on the Tay and J Show live, so it was fun to talk to him. He's the guy that recruited, I about said his nickname. I don't want to do that.
I don't think we put it in there.
Okay. Recruited Spicy G.
That's what he calls him. That's what Greg likes to be called, is Spicy
G. Said call him that and he'll laugh. He recruited him to UIC and now obviously got him to come to Illinois. Here's Chin Coleman.
First and foremost, Greg is an unbelievable human being. Very humble. He comes from humble beginnings. He's a high character kid. And one thing that Coach Underwood preaches all the time is that character wins, character wins, character wins. That's one of his cliches that he talks to us about ad nauseum, is how important character is. And we're fortunate to inherit a high character young man. Like, he's so humble and so thankful and just a wonderful human being first and foremost. In terms of who he is as a basketball player, he comes from a soccer background, and once you see him play, you'll be able to understand how effective the soccer beginnings has paid dividends for him as a basketball player now. His foot quickness and his athleticism and his speed and his quick twitch and his nose for the ball, he's got great hand-eye coordination. He also is a big-time ping pong player.
Nice.
And he started playing ping pong in his homeland in Nigeria, and they started playing just on concrete. And they eventually graduated to get a table and put like some type of object or whatever in the middle of the table and play ping pong. So he's really, really, really good at ping pong. So his hand and eye coordination is great. So a lot of things that he do, you can see why he is who he is on the basketball floor and what it is that he does. He's got a high motor, and I tease these guys here every day, and we talk about how hard LaRon Black plays. I'm like, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea when you talk about motor, and which is a skill nowadays. That's an actual skill.
Mm-hmm.
And how when we talk about motor, this kid has a motor. Like he's got a 458 Ferrari type motor, and this kid goes hard. He plays hard. He's athletic. He blocks shots. He's probably going to be the fastest guy on our team at 6'9", and that's how fast he is from inline to inline. He's going to be the fastest player on the team, and that's where the soccer comes into play. From a skill standpoint, he's so Greg can dribble, he can pass, he can shoot threes. Because he hadn't played for a long time, he picks up the game at rapid pace. He's very skilled, very, very skilled, and we're excited about him. And I could talk to you guys about Greg forever, but we got the better end of this deal. Trust me, we got the better end of this deal. He's definitely a high major player. He definitely has some high major skills, and he definitely has a ceiling that's very, very, very high.
It was nice getting a perspective from his high school coach and his now assistant coach here at Illinois with Chin Coleman. But obviously, both these guys think highly of him. Neither of us have seen him very much, if at all, other than a highlight video. Right. So I think we're talking about a role player, and I think that's what they're both talking about, is the work ethic, the drive, the progression he's made as a player in just a couple years. There's a ceiling here that is really intriguing, but he also does two things really well right now in defending and rebounding that could make him a decent player early.
Yes.
In a small role, right? You're not expecting a lot out of this kid, but as a role player, he's what they need. You just like to have another veteran there with him, and that's where a fifth-year transfer would be nice.
Well, and as you look at the lineup or the roster right now, you're going to need him to be that guy, to be able to play a little, and it's too bad you can't redshirt him. Maybe they still will. You never know. You never know what can happen here with another recruit. But
yeah, I know people want to know names, and the one name, Brad Sturdy's mentioned, Derek Piper's mentioned, and I've heard as well, is Drick Bernstein. He's just a kid from North Dakota that averaged 8 points, 7.5 rebounds last year in a small conference. He's 6'8", 220 pounds. So that could be a guy who could just take some playing time.
Yeah.
Now, it'd be nice to have him for depth purposes, and if you can redshirt a Boyd Bowden, but do they think he'd be better than him right away? I don't know. But he's at least a body that could be a decent addition.
I think you just said like the third song on our Tay and J album. He's just a guy from North Dakota. Somebody's got
That's a strong name, by the way. Drick Bernstein.
Drick Bernstein.
And it's actually spelled Stine, so it's not Bernstein, right? It's Bernstein.
Drick? That's his name?
I got to get a picture of Drick Bernstein.
I agree with you. I want to see this. Hey, real quick, Game 5 NHL tonight, Stanley Cup. Interesting, and this is why I'm kind of upset right now, and I need it to be better. Game 1, Pittsburgh won, scored 5 goals. Game 2, Pittsburgh won, scored 4. Game 3, Nashville won, scored 5. Game 4, Nashville scored 4 and 1. I'm ready for a 2-1. I'm ready for an OT 2-1 game. So is Harry. We're back at Pittsburgh tonight, Game 3. I think they dropped the puck at 7, I think. So stay tuned for that.
Juan and I are off tomorrow.
Yes!
You get Carp and the Interns tomorrow.
Carp and the
Phenomenal band. Carp and the Interns.
I cannot wait to see what goes on tomorrow. I'm going to definitely podcast that one. Hey, I want to thank our guests again, Chin Coleman, Patrick Donnelly, also Ryan Easterling, IlliniInquirer.com. Talk some Illini football with him. Enjoy your 3-day weekend.
Enjoy your golf.
I'm going to.
Or drinking, whatever you do.
Well, let's put it in different order. Should be a good time. We'll see everybody Monday. It's a Tay and J Show.
Carpenters Local 243 in Champaign, Illinois wants to thank the contractors, developers, and business owners who utilize the skills and services of union carpenters on their projects. Carpenters Local 243 members are part of the world's highest skilled, most productive workforce. Members and contractors are committed to apprenticeship training and an ongoing journeyman skill advancement program. This provides the labor resources to ensure projects are completed. For a list of responsible contractors, call Carpenters Local 243 at 356-5463.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
When you think about summer, what comes to mind? Sunshine, picnics, ice cream, and double points. That's right, double points all summer long with the Illini Visa Rewards Card and the U of I Community Credit Union. Now through the end of summer, use your Illini Visa Rewards Card on purchases for gas, groceries, and restaurants and score double points. Plus, you can score an extra bonus 1,000 points with your Illini Visa for 20 or more transactions each month. Use those points to purchase once-in-a-lifetime trips and experiences. Not a member yet? Visit IlliniCard.org today.
It was big, huger than huge.
Big would be an understatement. Wow, this is giant.
It's Rosati's Pizza's Big Deal Beginning of the Week sale. This Monday and Tuesday, the big, huge deal is coming your way. Score a 14-inch, 2-topping thin crust pizza with a 2-liter for $17.10. Rosati's continues to celebrate their 10th anniversary with really large, big deals. A 14-inch, 2-topping thin crust pizza with a 2-liter for only $17.10 at Rosati's Pizza. 701 South Gregory and online at myrosatis.com.
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.